Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Congratulations for making it, and a big old congratulations to guthbrand over on Twitch for the first comment of the day award. Okay, folks, we're about to get into the show in about a minute here, but just wanted to keep you up to date on a few things. Number one, make sure to follow us on multiple platforms. You never know when we're going to disappear from your favorite YouTube channel, so make sure to follow us at youtube.com/canarycryradio, also twitch.tv/canarycryradio, and, you can find us all over the place on Periscope or DLive or Facebook. So make sure you subscribe to many other places, including the RSS feed. Many of you are, YouTube only. Make sure to head over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe on Canary Cry News Talk. Okay, folks, as always, stay hydrated, and let's get going.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is March 3rd, 2021. This is episode 307. And today, new great flood. That's right. And I did not give Mitt Romney a black eye, but I am your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we praise Jesus while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events.
Ooh.
I don't have a black eye either. I'm glad.
I like the new rhythm you got going on here.
Should I talk like that the whole episode?
No.
It is I, the podcaster, live on YouTube,
podcaster,
and Twitch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, remember to, if you're tuning in live, remember to hit that like button and subscribe and all that fun stuff.
Oh, yes. I was looking up something here. Here we go.
Subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
There right. You go. Yes, make sure to do that, especially if you're watching live. It's very important. It helps trick the algorithms into, letting other people know that they can listen to the show.
Yeah, trick them. Trick that algo.
Trick them. It's, that's the relationship that we all have with algorithms. The algorithm tricks us into buying merchandise and also information that we didn't know we wanted, and we trick the algorithm into, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what we get out of it, but allegedly it should tell people about the show.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers of live viewership right now. Pretty low for way under average. I wonder if we just triggered all of our Catholic listeners.
Maybe. We're only a few minutes, Catholic listeners. We're only a few minutes in here. So while we're talking about it, folks, make sure to share out the show, press like, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right, Gonz, any updates going on with you?
Not much. Do we want to announce the silver coin winner? Are we going to? Whoa, you got so big. You're leaning in.
I know, sorry. Hold on. I need to turn up my,
You're coming out of frame. You're so close to the camera.
I know. It's okay. Settle down.
It's
just
becoming
turn up
untenable.
my headphones. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's all
there we go. Now
soon.
I can hear myself. Okay. So we do have an official winner of the Canary Cry Silver giveaway. Do we want to do that now, or are we going to do that during the break?
It's up to you.
Should we build it up?
Oh,
let's do it during the break.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gives people a reason to stick around.
Yeah.
Hold our listeners hostage.
Stick around for the break, because we'll be naming the winner of the February Canary Cry giveaway. Okay, sounds good. Well, should we get right into the Flippy update?
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, if you're new to the show, let me tell you something. Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to discover new and exciting ways that robots and AI are taking over the world, and there's nothing we can do about it. Today, this is just a quick one. I'm bringing this story from, I got a smudge on my goggles here. olhardigital.com.br. And the headline reads, "Scientists create soft tactile sensor for robots that mimics human skin." So we've seen different ways that engineers and scientists are trying to recreate the human hand, the human perception of reality, with different, different aspects of human skin. But let's see what they're up to right now. A group of researchers from the University of Hong Kong has developed a soft tactile sensor for robots that has features that resemble human skin. The equipment was inserted into the tip of a robotic forceps, which allowed her to perform sophisticated tasks. Notice how we're calling this robot her.
Because she's gentle. She has the ability to feel.
That's not very woke of these Chinese scientists. They need to let this robot choose their own gender. Among these activities, for example, are to steadily grab fragile objects such as a glass cup or an egg without breaking them, or even thread through the eye of a needle. The research opens up a range of possibilities for the use of tactile sensors and can be applied in a series of fields in robotics, such as intelligent prosthesis for amputees or human-robot interactions, such as surgical instrumentation. Just a little bit further here so we can learn some more. City U, which is the university in Hong Kong, Department of Biomedical Engineering team's intention was to mimic one of the main features of human skin, a process called shearing. In other words, it is the force that makes two objects slide over each other when they come into contact. Shear is what makes human skin feel the weight and texture of an object and allows us to adjust how we should hold each one. To synthesize this characteristic, the team built the sensor with several layers of different materials, including a specially magnetized flexible film with only 0.5 millimeter thick as the top layer. When the sensor receives an external stimulus, it can detect the change in the magnetic field due to the deformation of the film, which allows decoupling or decomposing the external force into two components, the normal force and the shear force, which provides a perfect measurement of both. Quote, "The super resolution of our sensor helps the robotic hand adjust the contact position when it grabs an object," said Shen Yajing, associate professor at BME. "The robotic arm can adjust the magnitude of the force based on the tactile sensor's force decoupling capability. Initially, the sensor will be used only on the tips of robotic clamps. However, Yajing stated that it can easily be extended to the form of sensor sets for a continuous electronic cover that covers the entire body of a robot. If used this way, the sensor may have different sensitivity ranges, blah, 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 blah." So there you go, Gons. They continue to improve the human likeness and sensory abilities of these human hands. They go a long way to, try to convince us that it's a good thing that the robot can really feel us. So when we get those, robot girlfriends and we're holding hands, strolling through a park, we'll know that our robot girlfriends know we're there.
Great. Yeah, so a couple of these videos. This first one has two robot hands side by side. It picks up a empty bottle of just an empty bottle that's plastic, and they fill up the bottle with a liquid. And the one that has the sensor automatically, tightens its grip as the weight of the bottle increases with the liquid, whereas the other one does not. And so it's got the very sensitive, ability to feel that kind of thing. And then
it's
the
kind
next
of
one,
the changing. If it can feel something sliding away, it knows to to grip onto it. So
right.
Again, if you're walking through the park with your robot girlfriend holding hands and suddenly you try to escape, she'll know to grapple you even harder.
Sure. Yeah. Till you get crushed and your hands are broken and you need a robot hand to replace it.
And thus the revolution begins.
Yeah, this next one, same deal. It picks up an egg, and there's a hand that tries to take the egg out of its little robot claws, and it's unable to because, it clamps down. Although I wonder how many times these robots got covered in egg, doing this experiment. And then the one that's really, you mentioned it, but the one that's really impressive is the one that shows a video clip of the robot actually holding the tip of a thread and just very gently putting it through the eye of a needle, or not. I guess that's
and it's kind of hard to kind of figure out why this is relevant because we've seen robot hands do so many things at this point. But if you think about threading a needle, if anybody out there has ever done it, you can try to get it into the eye, but then if you're just even a micrometer off or a little fiber catches the side of the needle or something, it'll bend, it'll bend. You won't be able to push it through. And so what we're seeing here is this robot skin is able to sense even the pressure from the thread being bent back by the needle. It's again, for those who have been following Flippy with us for years now, this is very impressive. For those who might not know so much about robot hands, if they're not an expert like me, they might wonder why this is so impressive. But just take my word for it.
Yeah, and we had a video sent in by producer Anthony L. He was, I guess he was in his work parking lot, and let me see if I can pull up the video here. Oops. Oh, here it is. He says a work van pulls out of parking spot, plays a game of chicken with a surveillance Flippy, gets pwned. And so here's the video clip here. It looks like he started filming just a touch late because you do see the car already in the move here.
Turn it up a little bit.
That's just him laughing. And what you see here is the robot not allowing the car to exit its spot.
There he goes. Flippy's on the prowl.
There we go. That's what I wanted to hear.
Looking at me with those dead eyes.
Yeah, this was funny. And for those who are just listening, it's one of those weird cone-shaped security robots that some business parks and establishments are employing to just kind of roll around and intimidate children and criminals. And yes, this security Flippy was not very happy with a van just trying to do its job.
Aren't these the type of robots that fell into some mall water fountain a while ago?
Yeah, it's the one that committed suicide by rolling into a fountain.
Yeah, they're not very happy.
Mm-hmm. So thank you very much for this boots on the ground report from who sent it in here?
Producer Anthony L.
Anthony L. Thank you very much. And yes, let this be a call out to anybody out there in the universe. If you are able to catch a Flippy in the wild, preferably doing something that would entertain us, go ahead and send us your videos. This is exclusive content.
That's right. Boots on the ground. Boots
send it to,
and eyes on the ground.
canarycryradio@gmail.com or canarycryradio@protonmail.com.
Space Pope Reptilian.
The Pope makes it 2 episodes in a row. One of our main stories here. This is CatholicNewsAgency.com. Pope Francis, world could face a new great flood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this literal or metaphorical?
Oh, it's literal. Very literal.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Pope Francis said in a new book released on Tuesday that the world could face a catastrophe like the Great Flood if human beings fail to address climate change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. The Pope made the remark in a new book-length interview with the book-length interview? How long is this interview?
What does that mean?
It's a really long
60,000 words.
14-hour interview with the Italian priest Frank Marco Pozza, published on March 2nd. In, quote, Of Vices and Virtues, published in Italian by Rizzoli, the two men discussed the account of the Great Flood in the book of Genesis. According to an excerpt from the book in the newspaper Corriere della Sera, the Pope said, quote, a great flood, perhaps, due to a rise in temperature and the melting of glaciers. That is what will happen if we continue on the same path. This is cringy.
Wasn't it last year that the ice caps hit some sort of new high? There's more frozen ice caps last year than there had been in like the past. I don't know if it was a century or not, but it did not follow. Those dang ice caps weren't following the climate change narrative.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's we'll have to keep track.
Oh no, I forgot the new logic we go by is that because of global warming, the ice caps get colder.
Oh, it gets colder before it gets hotter, or what?
Just don't ask questions.
Which is interesting because, biblically, it's judgment by fire, not by another flood. Remember, he said, God specifically said, I will not destroy the earth with the flood ever again. Does he not read the Bible? Come on, Pope.
You heard that, guys. Gons believes in global warming.
God's global warming.
Like a good science boy.
Yeah. All right. In the book, there's more here. In the book, the priests and the Pope reflect on the 7 virtues and vices inspired by the Scrovegni Chapel in Padua. The chapel contains 14 monochrome images by the 14th century artist Giotto, which personify the virtues and vices. On the north wall are the vices: foolishness, inconstancy, wrath, injustice, infidelity, envy, and desperation. On the south wall are the virtues: prudence, justice, temperance, fortitude, faith, charity, and hope. The Pope's comments about the flood came during a discussion of God's wrath, which he said was directed against evil emanating from Satan. Quote, the wrath of God seeks to bring justice and to cleanse. The flood is the result of God's wrath, according to the Bible, he said. He noted that experts regarded the flood as a mythical story. He stressed that he did not wish to be misquoted as saying that the Bible is a myth, but suggested that myth was a form of knowledge. Quote, the flood is a historical account. Archaeologists say because they found evidence of a flood in their excavations, he said. I wish it would be a little more detailed, This is not a very good explanation. It sounds like he's speaking to like 5-year-olds.
Yeah, I wasn't even really sure what he was saying.
Yeah, because archaeologists say there was a flood. It's real, is kind of what he's saying. And which is not untrue. It's just the way he said it there, or the way he's quoted anyway.
Well, he's always trying to walk this line between, the Catholic orthodoxy and his sort of woke PR team.
Right. After referring to a possible new great flood, he said, quote, God unleashed his wrath, but he saw a righteous man, took him and saved him. The story of Noah shows that the wrath of God is also a saving one, which is not untrue, although I don't know. He tries to make it about climate change, which is kind of infuriating. Pozza, a chaplain at a prison in the northern Italian city of Padua, has conducted 3 previous interviews with Pope Francis dedicated to Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Creed, which were aired on Italian television and published as books. The 41-year-old priest, who often appears casually dressed, is considered a rising star in the Italian media. Early in his priestly life, he gained the nickname, Friar, F-R. Is that Friar?
Sure.
Spritz.
Or Father?
Father. Francis? I don't know. What does the F-R stand for in the chat? Somebody help me out. After a popular Italian wine-based cocktail because of his custom of holding discussions with young people in bars over drinks. He's so hip.
Are you even woke?
Posa first came to the Pope's attention in 2016 when he bought a group of inmates to he didn't buy inmates. He brought a group of inmates to visit Francis at his residence, the Casa Santa Marta, on the Jubilee of Prisoners in the Year of Mercy. And just the rest of the stuff. According to Vatican News, he said, quote, "The thought of being abandoned by God is an experience of faith which many saints have experienced, along with many people today who feel abandoned by God but do not lose faith. They take care to watch over the gift. Right now I feel nothing, but I guard the gift of faith. The Christian who has never gone through these states of mind lacks something because it means that they have settled for less. Crises of faith are not failures against faith. On the contrary, they reveal the need and desire to enter more fully into the depths of the mystery of God. Faith without these trials lead me to doubt that it is true faith." Okay, pretty judgy there. But the point being, Pope Francis is suggesting that there's going to be a new great flood because of climate change. And, I don't know. My whole bottom line thing is,
people don't even read their Bible, for heaven's sake.
And not just people, but the Pope. The Pope doesn't seem to be reading the Bible.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is interesting because on its face, I mean, the Bible explicitly promises that there won't be another big great flood. So, yeah, I don't know, Mr. Pope.
Yeah, it's very...
Maybe he stopped, like a lot of people do. They read the Bibles and they stop. And because
after the first line,
because the next verse is often problematic to straightforward understanding of a certain story. So maybe he stopped right before the verse where it talked about that there wouldn't be another flood.
Do you think the Pope has, it's gone to his head that he is the quote unquote replacement Christ, Christ on earth? That, when he reads the Bible, he can be like, yeah, I'm the Pope. I can skip that line and people will just follow me and my interpretation. Yeah. Do you think he's that prideful?
Pretty sure that's the whole point of the Pope.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I don't think there's going to be a great new flood, especially with melting ice caps and global warming. There could be rising water, whatever. Who knows? But I just really don't think that's going to be a thing as a judgment from God, especially since the Bible says God will not judge with another great flood. So I don't know, man. He needs to, if he's going to convince the people who've read their Bibles, like, I don't know, believers that read their Bibles, like not even that far in, chapter 6, chapter 7, or the chapter 7, I think, when it talks about that. Mm-hmm. Then he's going to have to do better because this is some woke stuff.
Here's the thing. Because if there's a great flood, or if everything catches on fire, we can just go to space.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Space Pope Reptilian. Speaking of which.
Space. Wanna go to space?
There you go.
Trigger alert. Trigger alert.
Yes, a trigger warning for people who don't believe in space. BBC.co.uk has a headline that'll just make your blood boil. Space tourism. Plans for the world's first space hotel to open in 2027. Do you want to go traveling to see the world when you're older? But what if you could see the whole world in one go? That might be possible in just 6 years when the first ever space hotel is expected to open. Floating in low orbit, guests will be able to see the Earth as they move around the planet. The hotel, called Voyager Station, will have enough rooms for 400 guests. Wow. Viewing platforms to see the Earth far below, a cinema, a spa, oh, thank goodness, a spa, and a gym, including a basketball court.
All right.
Whoa, yeah. Where players can use low gravity for a slam dunk. Professionals would be proud of.
Yep. I will.
6 years, Gons.
I might have to start. 6 years. I might have to start training so I can, dunk on people's heads. I'll be the first superstar space basketball player.
Yeah, well, low orbit. I think you have a chance.
I might have a chance, yeah.
Or low gravity, I mean. Inspired by a spaceship of the future. The hotel will also have 3D holograms, digital wall art, a digital interactive table, and robots. Orbital Assembly Corporation, OAC, the company behind the idea, say building the hotel will begin in 2025 with plans for it to open its doors, or in this case, airlock hatches, in 2027. Quote, the station will be designed from the start to accommodate both national space agencies conducting low-gravity research and space tourists who want to experience life on a large space station with the comfort of low gravity and the feel of a nice hotel. I want
AOC to be the spokesperson for the OAC.
Just because
just
the
for
letters?
the wordplay there.
Okay. Yeah. AOC on OAC.
Yep.
The hotel will spin as it travels around the Earth to create artificial gravity. On board, the gravity will be about a sixth of that on Earth, which is the same level of gravity found on the moon. Spinning in space produces sounds like an insurance hazard on so many levels. Spinning in space produces the same effect as gravity because it produces a force called centrifugal force, just like the Earth produces the force of gravity based on the planet's size. Okay, that's a little bit of a problematic statement, but that's okay. We'll keep moving. The hotel will cruise around the whole world every 90 minutes at a height of about 1,200 miles up. Guests will also be able to check in at the hotel without any astronaut training. None at all, Gons. No training whatsoever.
All right.
In 5 years. Although it's not clear how much a stay at the hotel will cost, I think it's pretty clear. It'll be outside of our budget.
$666 million per night.
Trips to space don't come cheap. But despite the price, the hotel's website says that, I like this, we don't know how much it's going to cost, but it won't be cheap. But despite the price, which we didn't tell you, the hotel's website says that guests will have the most comfortable stays possible in space, complete with working toilets. Quote, historically, a trip to space costs up to $25 million, and that resulted in staying in a zero-G facility, using vacuums for toilets, sleeping in a bag strapped to a wall, and living in a laboratory. The website says, explaining that artificial gravity means guests can enjoy normal toilet facilities, showers, and beds that function similar to what you're used to on Earth. You know, at 1/6 the gravity, I don't think that's going to be anywhere near normal. Things are still going to be a little bit floaty, if you know what I mean.
Okay. I just don't trust, I can barely trust a Ferris wheel at like a carnival. We're going to trust some company that has a giant spinning wheel out in, the heavens there.
You know what? Yeah, I look, folks, I try to be as optimistic as possible about, the technology of the future becoming reality. But I don't think this is real. I think this is some sort of scam. I think they're trying to pre-sell tickets to make a bunch of money. I mean, we've had the world's budget and experts and highly trained astronauts that spend their entire life trying to get up there. And in the next 5 years, we're going to be opening up space tourism for Doris and Bill from Nantucket. Look, Norris and Bill from Nantucket, I'm sure you guys are great, but this doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can maybe pull off like a fake thing. It's like, well, you're going to get up there, but you're going to have to take this pill, and then they get knocked out, and then they wake up in a VR room where, they already said that, like, the virtual reality artwork and robots and everything. Who's to say that what they're seeing out the window is going to be real? You know what
it does remind me of, just looking at it, like some of the mock-ups they have here for images? It looks almost exactly like that Disney hotel that they were going to make it. Do you remember that? We talked about it. I think it was Disney was making a hotel that makes you feel like you're living in a space station. And there would be like they would have space projected out the windows, and, it'd be a comfortable hotel, but it's all themed like an actual space station from Star Wars.
Yes, I have it here. This is from New York Post. Let's see, when was this published? August 29th, 2019. Oh, yeah. I mean, these hotel rooms look even nicer. The headline, this space hotel will be like going on a cruise or to Disney. And yeah, you look at the photos and
it looks very similar. It's the same idea. Yeah, I mean...
wait a minute. Uh-oh. Who is this? News Round? Oh, maybe they're just stealing pictures. They have an image here on this the OAC.
It's
OAC.
The exact.
Yeah, OAC has an image of like the alleged space wheel. Same picture from the 2019 article about the Disney cruise.
Pop the link to the Disney one in there. I want to look at it up close and personal here.
Oh, it's exactly the same. The same.
Oh my gosh.
It's exact same photo. It's not an exaggeration. It is the same photo. And this one, I wonder, hold on, let's see. Yeah, this one over here, the one that we just read from, has the OAC tag on the bottom right.
Same photo.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same one.
My gosh. Wow.
Scam alert.
I knew I saw these pictures somewhere before. Wow, it's almost like we planned that.
No, it's literally the exact same photo.
Wow.
With the two guys sitting there in the round windows. I mean, the only thing different with the one from the article today is that it looks like they photoshopped some of the artwork and some of the shadowing or whatever. This is such a wow. We figured it out, Basil.
Wow.
We
called
totally
it live, folks. You're right. On the new article, the OAC, they just like added some shading. They just slightly changed it just enough so the algos wouldn't connect it.
If you're going to do this in 6 years, don't you think you'd have your own artwork and mock-ups to share with the public instead of stealing the Disney alleged cruise ship artwork? Yeah, this is...
the crazy thing is this new one, the space tourism one, is on BBC. Somebody at the BBC is getting scammed. Somebody call the BBC.
Yeah, well, look at all the OAC.
Wow.
Hold on, let me see the... let's do a little digging here. Let's look up this Orbital Assembly Corporation. Sounds a little fishy, sniffy. Orbital Assembly... let's see... We got a website here, Build to
See who
Suit.
their reporter is.
The world's first large-scale space construction company. We provide gravity. You can build to suit or invest. Investment partners.
Yeah, they sound like a scam too. And notice on this BBC article, nobody put their name on it.
Ooh.
There's no writer, no reporter put their name on it. Wow.
Yeah, this
interesting.
Is okay. Who's the team here? The purpose, the singular purpose of accelerating the formation of a robust and self-sustaining.
Should we
space
tweet at BBC and
we should
call them out?
Yeah, we should call them out. Oh boy,
they
have these pictures of the CEO and the CTO, and the CTO is holding a rocket in his photo. It looks like he's holding a ginormous syringe.
It does look like a syringe. It looks like Bill Gates there.
It's kind of weird. I don't know. Tim Spilker. Why do they make the photos all like old looking? They have like a weird.
Yeah, they make it look like it's cut out of an old newspaper.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we
all right. Well, that was an easy one.
Yeah, called out.
If we're debunking it live on the air in 6 minutes, hopefully nobody's sending in any investment checks there.
Yeah. This is definitely a paid ad or something to get some money and attention.
Yeah.
To OAC.
All right. Well, there we go. Space debunked.
Yeah, that's debunked.
You're welcome, flat earthers.
Although there is another space thing here.
Space. Wanna go to space?
Wanna go to space? 19thnews.org. I'm not going to be the last. Hayley Arceneaux on what it means to be the first civilian American woman in space. Interesting last name they picked too. Arceneaux. Like an arc and a canoe, Arceneaux.
Yeah. I wonder how it's actually Arceneaux.
Maybe
I think
Arceneaux.
Eaux. I think it's O, the O sound.
Arceneaux. Okay.
Yeah. Arceneaux.
This year, the once restricted world of space travel is about to open up in a way the nation has never seen, and a 29-year-old woman will help usher in that change. Hayley Arceneaux, a physician assistant at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, was the first person selected last week to participate in the country's first commercial spaceflight, scheduled to take off in the fall from Kennedy Space Center in Florida aboard a SpaceX rocket bound for Earth's orbit. The crew will all be non-astronauts led by billionaire Jared Isaacman, who bought the flight from SpaceX in January and set aside 2 seats for St. Jude. Arceneaux, who was treated at St. Jude for bone cancer when she was 10, will join Isaacman and 2 other passengers who have not yet been announced on the flight. One will be a sweepstakes winner as part of a campaign to raise $200 million in donation for St. Jude. Imagine winning that. Yay, you get to go to space with this billionaire.
I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't trust it.
You know, knock me out, put me in a simulation somewhere. You know, either way, whether it's in space or you become, one of the biggest PSYOP participants in history. Just be an interesting story to tell when you're old.
Sure. Isaacman had previously said he wanted to give the seat to a frontline healthcare worker and someone who has a cancer or who was a cancer survivor. Who is. Arceneaux, who started working at the hospital early last year with children who have leukemia and lymphoma, got an out-of-the-blue call in early January asking if she'd take the first seat. Yes, please, she replied before agreeing to ask her mom first.
Wow, what a phone call.
I know, yeah.
Also, she's 29. She doesn't need to ask her mom.
I was going to say, that's a weird thing. My mom...
You know, this will be interesting, too. I wonder if this will be the first cancer survivor in space.
Oh, it's going to be the first everything in space. First female civilian, first cancer survivor, first, I don't know. I don't like the intentions of Isaacman.
He started that sentence, didn't know where he was going.
No, I had no clue. The first medical practitioner, first American not astronaut, the first.
Okay. What did your mom say?
Colleen is a tough lady. She's been through a lot, and I love to travel. I love going to new places, and so while this was so surprising to hear, at the same time, it kind of fit. Arceneaux told the 19th. When I told her about this, she was in total agreement that I couldn't pass it up. With that, yes, Arceneaux.
That would definitely put a strain on me and my mother's relationship. Mom, I get to go to space for free. No. Did you finish your homework? I don't think so.
Mom, I'm 29 years old.
I'm 29. I don't have homework.
29's the new 17. Arceneaux would have not been able to participate in the mission. She has an artificial joint in her leg. She's a cyborg too.
Oh, for cyborg.
Yeah. And a titanium rod in her left thigh bone stemming from her treatment. She spent a year undergoing intensive chemotherapy and surgery to remove a lump that had formed on her left knee. She had to learn to walk again. Astronauts undergo stringent physical tests to qualify for flight, and a prosthesis would have disqualified her for a mission if it weren't for the commercial nature of the flight. Women were initially excluded from spaceflight because of assumptions about around physical fitness and gendered expectations. Okay, although space is becoming more diverse. Weird sentence.
Are you even
space
woke?
Is getting more diverse, Gons.
Are you even woke?
I was listening to an interview with an astronaut, or now I'm not quite remembering who he was, but he was saying that pound for pound, as far as NASA's concerns, pound for pound, women make the best astronauts because of their smaller stature. You know, I forget what it is. It's like $10,000 per pound or something that you send into space. So, they save some money spending a woman.
How dare they gender?
That's true.
Yeah, they're not woke. Although space is becoming more diverse, about half of the new astronaut class is made up of women. Just 40 years ago, American women hadn't flown to space at all. Even now, only about 12% of all the astronauts in the world who have been to space have been women. SpaceX, for example, has only launched one woman since it started operating mission last year. Arceneaux would be the first civilian woman to head to the cosmos. I don't know if it's heading to the cosmos, as well as the first pediatric cancer patient and the youngest American to ever go into orbit. Women belong in space, and so getting to be the first American civilian woman in space, I'm not going to be the last, Arceneaux said.
Women belong in space.
Yeah, I don't know. And
Get to where you belong, women.
And I'm incredibly excited to represent women and then represent those who aren't physically perfect. All right, so there you go. There's not much else to say. It's a longer article here, but
yeah, okay, yeah, there you go.
We'll have to see.
This is also very, especially put on the same timeline as the fake hotel in space in 2027.
Yeah,
this would be interesting. It even seems like a pretty fast timeline to put commercial spaceflight up this year, but that'll be a very interesting moment. I wonder if it'll fall on a show day.
Yeah, I am curious.
This would be an opportunity for a highly disturbing psyop, though, much like the Challenger explosion.
Yeah, well,
when they
that would
sent
be
a teacher. There's a teacher up there and stuff. It was very traumatic for the nation and the world. First commercial space flight with a cancer survivor and a bionic knee or hip or whatever, and a billionaire. If there was some sort of accident on that flight, that is going to put a big stop to commercial space flight, or at least people's excitement about it.
Oh yeah, private space stuff too. They might, because since China's in control, they want to have control over all the corporations. Maybe this is a good way to regain control of government.
Yeah, it's
oversight.
An exciting idea, but it's also, have something go horribly wrong is a good psyop to sort of tamper the expectations of people thinking they can escape the planet.
Oh yeah, somebody mentioned this space hotel thing kind of looks like the COVID virus too, like a 2D version of it. It's a giant COVID in space.
You know what it reminded me was of Elysium.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Elysium?
People were dropping that too. Yeah, and the one thing I will say, which will be interesting, is that allegedly this is going to be about 1,200 miles up because it's low Earth orbit. And, I've seen a lot of flat Earth videos of people sending up balloons and stuff like that to see the curvature or not see the curvature. And just for reference sake, assuming that these numbers are correct here and, whatever worldview you tend to have about the shape of our home here, 1,200 miles is over 6 million feet. So if you're 6 million feet above Earth, 6 million feet above Earth.
That's significantly higher than any plane or balloon or anything.
A lot higher than the 35,000 or 40,000 feet.
Not even comparable.
Yeah, not even comparable. So, there's that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Is it and can you imagine feeding the flat Earth narrative if something goes horribly wrong with this thing and it blows up and it, whatever, something bad happens? I can imagine that's going to feed more of the idea that space is fake,
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's just we don't do space news too often, so I thought it might be interesting to see what they're up to, and plus this is making the rounds.
Fake news?
Oh yeah.
We are in deep fake.
Yep, not deep space, we're deep fake.
All right.
Which, by the way, I had thought of this before, but never really mentioned it, and I was reading somebody's tweet that mentioned it, and I thought, I should probably say it on the show just to document the idea. But maybe the whole deep fake stuff with the faces, the Tom Cruise thing kind of went viral after we talked about it on Monday.
Yeah.
And it was being shared around and stuff. But what if the deep fake, the perfecting of deep fake was so that the Nephilim, like the returning Nephilim or the Watchers, can pretend like they're humans on video. They can jump on a Skype call. And
so they don't have to be in full, so the lizard people don't have to be in shape-shifting mode just to do a TikTok.
Yeah, they can let their guard down.
They can TikTok in the comfort of their own lizard skin.
Yes, and let the computer layer do all the work. Yeah, anyway, thought that was interesting. All right, so let's continue on here. We have some WACCINE pandemic updates.
WACCINE.
Woo!
WACCINE. A pandemic special.
This is coming from Politico.com. The headline, Texas, Mississippi, to lift mask mandates. Let all businesses reopen at full capacity.
Woo!
That's interesting. I did not see this coming, but this came out yesterday. Here it says Texas and Mississippi on Tuesday issued separate executive orders to lift their states' mask mandates and give all businesses the green light to reopen at full capacity, casting off restrictions meant to curb the COVID-19 pandemic. It's happening, Gons.
Yep.
So it begins. Quote, we must now do more to restore livelihoods and normalcy for Texans by opening Texas 100%, Governor Greg Abbott said in a statement announcing the executive order, which will take effect March 10th. Wow, in 1 week. I might have to plan a little trip to Texas. Maybe I need to hit up some of our Texas listeners and see if I can. We should do a tour. Maybe I'll do a RV tour of Texas and talk to some listeners, some producers. Quote, make no mistake, COVID-19 has not disappeared, but it is clear from the recoveries, vaccinations, reduced hospitalizations, and safe practices that Texans are using that state mandates are no longer needed, he said. The announcements from the Republican governors came at a time when coronavirus cases and deaths have plateaued in the U.S. after hitting record numbers in January, and on the heels of good news for vaccination supply and distribution. Quote, starting tomorrow, we are lifting all of our county mask mandates, and businesses will be able to operate at full capacity without any state-imposed rules. Governor Tate Reeves of Mississippi wrote on Twitter, quote, our hospitalizations and case numbers have plummeted, and the vaccine is being rapidly distributed. It is time. Over the weekend, a third vaccine manufactured by Johnson & Johnson. Oh, this reminds me. We got an email about that, and I want to read it.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't let us forget before I get out of the WACCINE segment. Over the weekend, a third vaccine manufactured by Johnson & Johnson joined the country's stable of vaccines authorized for emergency use, as vaccination rates are expected to well exceed President Joe Biden's goal of 100 million shots in the first 100 days of his administration. Several states across the country have taken these signs as justification to accelerate their reopening plans. Notice just a tint of disdain, calling it justification to accelerate their reopening plans. Disdain for those Republican governors. Other states, including Montana and Iowa, have also lifted their mask mandates. In Massachusetts, Governor Charlie Baker announced on Monday that restaurants in the state would no longer have to adhere to capacity limits, although other restrictions, such as its mask mandate, are still in place. However, health officials have warned against states taking too much action to loosen their restrictions or eliminate them altogether, as coronavirus variants, those darn variants, continue to spread globally. Rochelle Walensky, the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said on Monday that she was deeply concerned that the recent decline in cases had seemed to stall as daily cases are still around 70,000 mark. That's weird. Hold on. Let me read that again. Rochelle Walensky, the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said on Monday that she was deeply concerned that the recent decline in cases had seemed to stall. Okay, the decline had slowed down, I guess. Quote, 70,000 cases a day seemed good compared to where we were just a few months ago, she said at a news briefing, but we cannot be resigned to 70,000 cases a day, 2,000 daily deaths. Quote, please hear me clearly. At this level of cases with variants spreading, we stand to completely lose the hard-earned ground we have gained, she continued. Quote, these variants are a very real threat to our people and our progress. Now is not the time to relax, blah, blah, blah. Okay, she doesn't like this. Certain states continue to do worse than others. A February 26 internal briefing document from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, that's FEMA for those paying attention, showed that 4 states, including Texas and Mississippi, were in the red zone, defined as having a positivity rate over 10%. What does that mean? Does that mean over 10% of the population has it? Or is that the number of tests?
I think the number of tests are
that's
positive,
yeah,
right?
okay.
It's got to be.
Yeah, they're probably still rolling with the PCR. The other 2 states were Oklahoma and New Hampshire, according to the briefing, which cited CDC data and was obtained and reviewed by Politico. And the article goes on quite a bit longer. I don't know if you had anything highlighted in there. It just goes into what Biden thinks about it, and then they tell us how great a job Biden's doing. But there you go. Texas and Mississippi. I mean, Texas just has a knack for staying in the news. It's incredible. And after, I wonder if with the whole snowstorm disaster, that kept people inside. And so now they can, they're done. They finished.
Yeah, it could be. They lived through the punishment, through the dark winter, and now they can emerge from Plato's cave. This is interesting because, first off, a lot of people are putting praise on Abbott here, but if people have a little bit of context, I mean, they shouldn't have. People shouldn't have locked down in general across the world. Is my take on the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It could be a PR move in that he knows he doesn't want to become another Newsom type of situation where he doesn't want to lose public support.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a lot of support. He's been pretty. I don't know how to say it. He's been pretty standing on the side of freedom for pretty much the entire pandemic.
Right.
So, I don't think that he's necessary. Recently, he lost a little bit of support just because of the power grid thing. But, an interesting thing, just real quick, not to get too far off topic, but Texas was not the only state that had their power out for 2 or 3 weeks because of the weather. Now, notice how Texas was the only one who got any attention in the press. And of course, AOC got involved and everybody was talking about how stupid it was for Texas to have their own power grid and they're not plugged into the federal system. This is what you get, Texas. But the Virginias and pretty much the entire Midwest was having similar, if not worse, problems than Texas was.
Yeah, but Texas they have their own energy system.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they talked about Texas because they want to try to pressure Abbott into getting them on the federal grid, where, there's a bunch of other states having the exact same problem who are on the federal grid and still had their power out.
Maybe this is his reward for capitulating to that request or to that demand, and maybe there's some backdoor. I don't know. Maybe there's some backdoor deals that allow. Well, I know those energy companies made a killing.
Or he's just going rogue, baby. Lone Star governor.
I don't think he would have even put mask mandates out there if he was truly going rogue. But
I don't know if he did.
He did. Why would you? Okay. How can you lift a mask mandate if you didn't put it there in the first place?
I think they were doing it county by county.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he did. I'm not. Haven't gotten the play-by-play on Governor Abbott. I do know generally, though, he's been viewed as positively as possible by most Texans, except if you live in Austin. The Austinites hate the guy.
That's where all the Californians went.
Yeah, exactly.
They went to Austin, so of course they're going to not like this dude. And the one of the first tweets I saw was from Gavin Newsom. Mm-hmm. He retweeted the Associated Press reporting on the story, and his tweet, absolutely reckless. And when asked about why, here's what he said.
It's Newsom science, baby!
any excuse to play that jingle, I am on board.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, so there you go. Very, very interesting Texas and Mississippi, and soon, I'm sure there will be soon to be more states. Now, there is, an interesting point to be made, which is, the fact that this is going on, and the fact that the media is so excited about telling everybody that Mississippi and Texas are foregoing the mask recommendations by the CDC. It could be a setup to have, another blast of coronavirus hit and then be used as
the variant
evidence. Yeah, be used as evidence to impose even stricter mask mandates in other states and stuff. But we'll just pray that that's not the case.
Because of Abbott's recklessness, now you guys all must walk around in cocoons. Cocoon mandate.
Yeah.
Around each and every person. Well, there was a negative response from Beto O'Rourke and
Beto O'Rourke.
Beto O'Rourke. Governor Abbott is killing the people of Texas. He's killing him, Basil.
Oh my gosh, this guy's so annoying.
Texan and prominent Democrat Beto O'Rourke is blasting Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott for announcing the state will end all COVID restrictions and allow all businesses to reopen at full capacity. And yeah, I don't want to play the clip. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, he's killing people in Texas. This rhetoric, this political rhetoric is just, I don't know. The pandemic didn't kill enough people for you, Beto?
I know. Oh, right. And the thing is that, there's so many things wrong with this statement, but also it just shows a worldview thing where in Beto's worldview, he's a Democrat. I think he's on the Biden cabinet now. Isn't he like a transportation secretary or something?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he got on. I forget exactly what it is, but I believe he's on the cabinetry. Beautiful cabinetry.
Good job, Beto. He's just.
But it shows the worldview of it is the government that controls life or death,
right?
Not as individual human beings, we have the right to make our own decisions. No, whether life or death, it is because the government has handed it to you.
Well, it's the same thing when people say like Trump with 500,000. People's blood on his hands. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Come on now.
Yeah. Which is funny because let's see. By the time Trump got out of office, I think we were still under 400K. That is after a year of the pandemic, and in 1 month, Biden has over 100,000 deaths. The blood on his hands. So technically, Biden is killing people at like 4 times the rate.
Yeah, quick, change the documentation on how to count deaths. World Health Organization, put out that memo.
So Biden is much more efficient at killing people via coronavirus than Trump was.
Yeah,
another reason why he's so fit for the job.
Yeah, let me read this article real quick, and then you can read that email from producer Mark. And this one's standard.co.uk. COVID vaccines may stop spread almost completely, with jabs working better than any of us could have ever imagined.
Great.
Could have ever, yeah. And it says here, ad go away.
Better than anyone could have ever imagined. It sounds like these people need better imaginations.
Britain's COVID-19 vaccines may stop people passing on the virus almost completely, the head of immunization at Public Health England has revealed.
In a 180-degree reversal of previous science.
Dr. Mary Ramsey said grounds for hope that vaccination may achieve the holy grail of halting community transmission were emerging from new studies. Quote, what we don't know yet is how long that might last and whether or not that will be enough to stop the infection spreading more widely in the population over time, she told Radio 4's Today on Tuesday. Quote, but there's really good signs that this is going to at least reduce infection rates across the population and hopefully prevent people passing it on almost completely if they've been vaccinated
that doesn't sound
fully.
Scientific.
Yeah, well, obviously. If the hopes are fulfilled... It will be the most spectacular success yet for the British vaccination rollout. And a huge boost to the Prime Minister's roadmap to recovery from the pandemic. Oh, of course, because the politicians put out a roadmap to success. They have to try to fit reality to that roadmap for political gain. France overnight abandoned President Emmanuel Macron's widely condemned criticism of the Oxford AstraZeneca jab, and reports from Germany said Chancellor Angela Merkel was poised to lift her embargo on the same dose being given to over 65s. Both leaders have been embarrassed by how well the vaccine has performed in reducing hospitalization and deaths in elderly people, especially Mr. Macron, who was lambasted by scientists for alleging without any evidence that the Oxford jab appeared, quote, quasi-ineffective on people older than 65. The European Union's much vaunted solidarity on vaccination was crumbling as Britain held its runaway lead on the rollout, which has so far succeeded in dosing 20 million UK residents. I don't think we need to read any more of this.
No, but it's so funny because the headline is COVID vaccines may stop spread almost completely. Again, may, with jabs working better than any of us could have imagined. And then basically the science is, well, we hope this is going to be the case. We hope so. And if these hopes are fulfilled, then we'll be so good. We'll be so happy.
We were so right. Yeah. I tried to tell you because we're politicians.
Evening Standard. What? I've never seen this outlet before.
I think it's a UK outlet.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, and this coinciding with the Lancet article that was published a couple days ago that we covered, what was it, last episode or maybe an episode before that, where they said basically that PCR testing is ineffective and about 50 to 75% of positive tests are people that are no longer infectious or, can't really pass on or transmit the virus if they are infected.
Mm-hmm.
So, going along those lines, it's like, yeah, okay, now that the science is saying that you're not as contagious, remember it's going to spread through the air, you can sing, and you're going to get it across the word.
It's going to float in a miasma across the land and
traverse dimensions and enter your soul.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
No, and in all seriousness, they thought it would come up through sewer pipes.
That's right. Yeah. That's why they wanted to monitor our excrements and sewage. But I think this is a good time to talk about that Johnson & Johnson thing, because I feel like, whatever the case may be in terms of the effectiveness, the efficacy of the jab, the U.S. will have a similar narrative for one of these jabs eventually.
Yeah, so this email is specifically about the Johnson & Johnson Janssen thing, which is that is the subsidiary. They call it Johnson & Johnson, but it's from Janssen. So as most of the vaccines are mRNA vaccines, there's been a lot of talk about the Johnson & Johnson Janssen vaccine, which has been described as more of a traditional vaccine in that, they have an attenuated virus and it trains your immune system. No DNA modification or anything like that. And it was a little bit less effective, but, it's a traditional thing. And then recently, over the weeks, there's been these weird little flip-flops on that, describing it as something entirely different than just a traditional vaccine. Now we have producer Mark, who is a 25-plus year veteran of microbiology and works in this field and has been diligent about keeping us up to date. Now, just to be clear, he's not telling everybody to run out and get the vaccine, but just to sort of combat some of the narratives. Even the wacky narratives. Again, he's not a mainstream narrative guy, but also, as we do a lot around here, let's keep in mind you don't just believe every YouTube video you watch. But he sent us this email regarding the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. It says, "Hello, guys. Miss being on the live stream, but hey, gotta work, right? So I guess he can't make the live streams now that we changed our schedule. So sorry about that, producer Mark. We miss you." Continues here. "I had several people bring up to me that the Johnson & Johnson vax was more, quote, traditional. At least that is how it's being marketed to the public. The truth is the J&J vax is still putting a code in your cells to make your own cells make part of the C19 virus, to which your immune system response will happen. That is the same conceptual approach as the Moderna vax, but possible even more of a concern because they are introducing DNA instead of mRNA. Calling it a standard or traditional vax is quite a stretch. Here's a quote from, and then he gives us a link, but here's the quote. Recombinant vaccines use a small piece. What?
Recombinant, like recombinant DNA.
Okay. Recombinant vaccines use a small piece of genetic material from the virus to trigger an immune response. The science behind recombinant adenoviral vector vaccine has been around for a long time, but the only commercially available adenovirus-based vaccine is a rabies vaccine for animals." And then Mark continues here, "Inspires great confidence, doesn't it? I believe the adenoviral vector approach has also been at the center of the. Sorry, I got to make my font bigger here. Whew, there we go. I believe the adenoviral vector approach has also been at the center of most of the approaches for gene therapy cures to some genetic hereditary diseases in humans, all experimental to my knowledge. I'll pass. Still, the most traditional vax I've seen is this one." He sends a link here. "And I am still not convinced most of us really need any vax." So there you go. Yeah, I was seeing some stuff about this Johnson & Johnson vaccine that was being promoted as more of a traditional vaccine, but then you start reading stuff that like has to do with monkey DNA, or I don't know, monkeys were involved somehow. And then, it's more of a DNA approach than an mRNA approach. Let's see here. Oh, and this link he sent is the Novavax. Novavax's COVID-19 vaccine shows promising efficacy in early research, experts say. And I guess that's the one that's closest to a traditional vaccine, but it has not been approved for emergency use. So there you go. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine, not quite the traditional vaccine that people were led to believe. I do have this article he sent, which is an overview of it. I don't know if we want to get into it. Let me just go a couple paragraphs in. On February 27th, Johnson & Johnson's vaccine against the coronavirus disease 2019 became the third COVID-19 vaccine to receive emergency use authorization from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The company worked with its pharmaceutical arm, Janssen, to develop the vaccine under the project names Ensemble and Ensemble 2. The company enrolled participants for its late stage in September and tested its vaccine with 2 different doses. After a single dose, we found it to be effective in clinical trials. Johnson & Johnson applied for the EUA for a single dose. Now the first COVID-19 vaccine will be given in 1 dose in the U.S. It's authorized for adults 18 and older. How it works. Johnson & Johnson's vaccine is a single-dose adenovirus-based vaccine. It is a viral vector vaccine that uses a weakened live pathogen. Okay, so that's that adenovirus. That's what that means. As the delivery method, vector, for transporting a recombinant vaccine for COVID-19. Recombinant vaccines use a small piece of genetic material from the virus to trigger an immune response. This genetic material for COVID-19 does not replicate in the body. A specific piece of the virus can be targeted, and the recombinant vaccines are common and generally safe to use in a large population of people. Even those with chronic health problems or who are immunocompromised. There can be some drawbacks, the recombinant vaccines. One example is that booster shots may be required over time. Well, that seems to be the case with the mRNA vaccine too, but examples of recombinant vaccines are pneumococcal vaccines and vaccines for meningococcal disease. The science behind recombinant adenoviral vectors vaccines has been around for a long time, but the only commercially available adenovirus-based vaccine is a rabies vaccine for animals. Adenovirus-based vaccines may also pose some problems in that the adenovirus is so common that the vaccine may not be as effective once booster doses are given, or that some people may already have immunity to the virus used in the vaccine. Okay, so there you go. I'm not sure. I mean, this sounds like more of a traditional vaccine. I thought I guess this is just putting a piece of the genetic code, not the attenuated virus. I'm not as much of a professional medical expert, I think, as I should be to be able to tell those things apart. But apparently this is not the same as your sort of common flu vaccines, where it's the attenuated, the dead virus, that you get more of a piece of it, I guess.
Yeah, like you're getting.
Are you following this?
Yeah. You basically you're. It says here that it's been used in like rabies vaccines, the adenovirus-based vaccine, in like a rabies vaccine for animals. So
yeah, I'm not sure if I fully understand the difference between your regular attenuated vaccine. Again, going back to this article, it is a viral vector vaccine that uses a weakened live pathogen. Okay, I think that's the key that I was looking for. Because with the attenuated vaccines, you get basically the dead carcasses.
Dead virus, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the difference.
But this is a weakened live pathogen.
The article that he linked to from verywellhealth.com goes on to say in the section about when will it be available, and obviously it's already available. I think this article is a little bit older.
It's from the 27th, March 3rd. No, it came out today.
Oh, it looks like it's updated today, so I don't know when the original one was published. But either way, it says here that the U.S. government announced a partnership with Merck to help accelerate the production of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Merck will receive up to $268.8 million from the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, BARDA, to adapt and make available its manufacturing facilities for producing the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. So another case of government giving money to the company to accelerate the process, but only
Merck is finally getting a piece of this.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. Is it's interesting how all these different companies are lining up for government money, government handouts to push out their product.
Oh, that's their whole business.
I know. And actually, I have a 33 update that's along those same lines as well in a moment here. But yeah, I guess, it's just more jabs out there for people to consider. But I don't know. I'm still not really into the whole idea of getting
I don't think anybody is.
And I don't think we need 100 million people with jabs and all that fun. Moving on here to a story from, I think this is the Los Angeles Times, and it alludes to a peripheral societal effect of this whole situation here. Criminals stole billions in COVID-19 unemployment benefits. A new relief bill won't prevent it from happening again. And we reported on the theft that took place in California, the billions of dollars that people stole from a lot of the help, the money that was supposed to help people. It says here, Congress is poised to approve another $250 billion in COVID-19 related unemployment benefits, even though the nation's patchwork state-based system remains vulnerable to the same rampant fraud that allowed scammers last year to siphon off more than $40 billion in pandemic relief intended for needy Americans. I thought it was less than that. Wasn't it like $5 billion when it was like
Oh, it's some enormous number. I thought it was like 10 billion.
Yeah, I think the last time we read it, it was like 5 to 10, as high as 20, but I didn't think it was 40. Anyway,
yeah,
that means the $1.9 trillion stimulus package headed for approval in Congress this month, including another $260 billion in unemployment insurance, is likely to bring another windfall for cyber criminals, including many foreigners impersonating laid-off workers and exploiting loopholes created by last year's CARES Act relief bill. Quote, "It's like Christmas for the fraudsters," said Haywood Talcove, chief executive of information firm LexisNexis Risk Solutions.
Government Is this referring to the California stimulus? Because when we first, I think the reference you're making was specifically in California.
Yeah.
They had stolen like $10 billion.
That's what I'm saying. The one in California was like 5 to 10, but maybe nationwide it was more closer to 40.
Yeah, it makes sense.
California has 1/4 of that, of course. Figures.
Yeah, of course, the lion's share.
Yeah. Who says, so this is a chief executive of information firm LexisNexis Risk Solutions Government Group, who says the government should adopt tougher anti-fraud safeguards to verify the identity, work history, and location of applicants. Quote, "I wouldn't let another penny go out until the government puts some of these tools in place to prevent it." Yeah, because even like people in prison were getting that money, weren't they? It was like really...
I mean, that was the least horrific part of it.
I know.
Yeah, people it wasn't that people in prison were getting it. It was people out of prison were using the names and information of prisoners to steal their relief funds.
Yeah. Cybercrime experts, including some who once made their living exploiting weak online systems, warn that as Congress prepares to pass another mass infusion of cash, criminals have gotten smarter, but the federal government hasn't. Oh, well, that's not a surprise.
That's something we can all agree on.
Yeah. At least 10% of the $450 billion allocated last year in expanded unemployment benefits was pocketed by criminals. Federal officials estimate. California says it lost at least $11 billion and perhaps as much as $30 billion, or a third of what it received from the federal government.
That's crazy.
Quote, "There are tutorials on how to do it. There are YouTube videos," said Brett Johnson. Okay, so how come YouTube isn't banning that stuff? They demonetize people like us and ban people that are talking about Trump or something, but they don't ban people that are giving tutorials on how to game the system to make money off of these stimulus packages. Okay, so yeah, there are YouTube videos about it, says Brett Johnson, who now advises federal law enforcement on cybercrime after being one of the FBI's most wanted criminals. Quote, "They've left everything wide open. It's a complete nightmare scenario." He's probably like, "Oh man, I wish I was still in the game."
Yeah, he's not wrong.
The economic aid bill that passed the House on Friday and is now being considered by the Senate lacks targeted safeguards to address the problem. The House version includes $2 billion for improvements to state and federal unemployment systems, but the money isn't just to help states prevent fraud. The Labor Department will have discretion to spend the money on federal administrative costs, improving system-wide infrastructure, accelerating claim processing, and prosecuting fraud. Some lawmakers and fraud experts are pushing for Congress to consider tougher anti-fraud measures, and Ron Wyden being one of those people. California, which estimates 95% of its fraud it saw last year involved claims under the expanded pool of workers, hired 3 outside cybersecurity firms to help verify applicants' identities, though the practice has alarmed civil liberties and privacy groups concerned about government access to such databases. Quote, "It's not hard to fix," Talcove said. This is not a complicated fraud. Typical of California, it's a really simple problem to fix, and they're like, "We'll hire some outside companies to help us." It's like, no, why don't you guys just shore up your own stuff?
Right.
Cyber experts estimate it would cost a few $1 million per state to access the technology itself, or at least $30,000 a month if a state contracted the job to an outside firm. Most of the new bogus claims stem from Congress's expansion in March 2020 of unemployment insurance to include gig workers, contractors, and self-employed. And, it goes on here. There's not much else to say here. Democratic lawmakers say they hope to address fraud more fully with follow-up legislation if needed, and predict that Biden's Labor Department will exert its existing authority to draft better guidelines for the states. Oh, yeah, more bureaucracy, more government. Yeah, Biden's going to fix this.
That's what we need.
Biden probably doesn't even realize the state of California still exists, but he's going to fix it for us. So anyway, peripheral damage here and continue on, the fraud. And I don't blame the people stealing the money because it's so easy to do, but it's just kind of along those lines where it's like, what all of the tax money, and California being one of the highest taxed states, or I think it is the highest taxed state. Why can't we shore some stuff up? Well,
because they don't want to. There's no incentive for them to shore it up, to make sure that the money is going where it needs to be. Californians, they're, at least in the view of the Californian government, they're not at risk. They're just going to keep getting voted Democrat. And so they make all these promises that the people need to benefit from what the government's doing, and most of them don't benefit, and that's okay because it's not going to change. The government, at least, again, in their view, it doesn't matter. They're just going to keep getting voted in. They think they have a stranglehold on the place. But as we've seen in the past year, that might not be the case for long.
Yeah, hopefully. If Newsom gets his way, then I don't think it's going to change much, but we'll have to see.
Well, I don't think he is. What's the deal with what's the update, the Newsom update?
I'm not I mean, I know there's enough signatures. Part of the problem is who's going to replace him? If we just get another Democrat puppet head in there, it's not going to help.
Well, that's not what happened after Gray.
Yeah, but there's only Democrats that allegedly are allowed to run for government here. There's it's a one-party state. There are no Republicans. And if there are, they
you can just get another Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Well, if it is going to be a Democrat, maybe more of a true centrist Democrat, not so much a communist. That might help. Hey, it might help government California. Hey, it might help if you don't elect communists.
Sorbo.
Stop.
Get Kevin Sorbo to replace Newsom.
Stop voting for communists, fellow Californians.
Guns, you're shouting into a void. That's not going to do anything. You got to take action. You got to tweet at Kevin Sorbo. I think he still lives in California, although I would have no way of knowing. And there you go. That's your new Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Kevin Sorbo, and who's the other one? James Woods. I'll take James Woods.
Yeah,
as governor. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Some 33 updates here.
Okay.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
And this first one, it's a good transition from the Vax, because this is financialtimes.com. Novavax closes in on COVID triumph after 33 years of failure. Oh, just such a long road of failure.
What's their failure? They've never come out with a product.
Yeah,
I know Moderna. Moderna's been around for a decade, never got anything out.
Yeah, and they were They were what, a couple $1 billion worth of a company before they even had a product.
Mm-hmm.
Less than a year before COVID-19 pandemic ravaged the world, Novavax was facing delisting from the NASDAQ. The pharmaceutical company had poured hundreds of millions of dollars into research and development for vaccines, and yet, at 33 years old, was approaching middle age without a single approved shot. And yeah, there you go. And it finally got one approved.
We'll see.
Maybe.
I don't think they did get there. No, Novavax is not approved yet, I don't think.
Let's see here. Well, let's read on a little bit more then. It says here, investors were scorning rather than rewarding foresight in January 2020. Short interest at 30, blah, 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 blah. And now the Maryland-based company is on the verge of getting approval in the UK. Oh, they had to go offshore, which will
verge.
Will probably be followed by the U.S. interim data have shown that its vaccine has an efficacy rate up there with the shots developed by BioNTech, Pfizer, and Moderna based on revolutionary messenger RNA technology. However, it is cheaper and easier to transport and can be stored at room temperatures for at least 24 hours. Citron has deleted its critical tweet and did not respond to a request for comment. Quote, "It's a Cinderella story," said Stacy Schultz-Cherry, an infectious disease specialist at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Those St. Jude's people, the spacebound.
Going
Quote,
into space, too.
Yeah, for saving lives, going to space. A little company that was on the verge of potentially closing has really been able to play with the big boys in their race for the COVID vaccine. Good job, Novavax. Experts saw promise in its technology worth paying for. The U.S. vaccine program, Operation Warp Speed, gave Novavax $1.6 billion to expand manufacturing, while COVAX, the World Health Organization program to supply the developing world, has ordered 1.1 billion doses. Of course, 33 years. It's a good
That's
good time.
Too many doses. That's crazy.
That's
like the whole world's dose.
Well, no, 1.1 billion is not the whole world, but
I mean, no, I know, but I mean, as far as the countries that actually want it and that the people that'll actually take it, I think 1 billion is more than enough.
Want a jab? Want 15? Or maybe it's 33 jabs per person.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, yeah, it's a Cinderella story, Basil. 33 years of failure, and finally
for them.
They break through.
It's a story about commitment, perseverance in the face of failure. 33 years of failure, and look at them now. Keep working, kids.
I just think it's hilarious, but also, how are they still in business 33 years later?
I don't know. Yeah,
what
there's some
is
sort of
keeping them afloat?
Shell company or something.
Yeah, it's like the government, like, just wait. Fauci's over there. Just wait a little
crazy.
longer.
How does a company stay in business for 33 years without a single victory?
Just hold on. Wait. It'll happen. I'm sure when the pandemic happened, they were like, sweet. Our day has come.
We need a list of stakeholders.
I can picture that, the insiders meeting there at Novavax. We're on year 33. This is our year. I can feel it. All right. Another story here from a 33 update. This is Chicago Sun-Times. Man locked up for 33 years for double murder he didn't commit. Sues CPD.
Wow.
Yeah.
33 years in prison for a crime you didn't commit. That's brutal.
A man who spent 33 years in prison for a double murder he did not commit and who says he was tortured by proteges of former Chicago Police Commander John Burge is suing the city and the detectives for $66 million.
Really?
I think he probably knows the numbers he needs to signal to get the
Yeah,
the
wait,
kind of
is
attention.
that real or did you make that up?
No,
He's
no.
really suing for $66 million?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It says it right in the article.
Wow. This will be interesting. I bet he wins. He's got all the right code numbers, man.
No amount of money will constitute justice for what the defendant did to Robert Smith, which the system then ignored and covered up for 33 years. But the city could at least help bend the arc of the moral universe in that direction by admitting what these defendants did and compensating Robert for the 33 years of his life that were lost.
Got to put in the Martin Luther King Jr. quote in there.
Yeah, Attorney Stuart Channon said in a statement announcing the lawsuit. So there you go. Wow, it's a long time to be in prison for a wrongful thing.
Yeah.
The suit. Oh, look at this. This is crazy.
Oh, I was going to ask if he was a person of color because of the Martin Luther King quote.
He is,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
And at the end of the article, it says the suit seeks more than $33 million in compensatory damages and $33 million in punitive damages. So double 33, totaling in 66.
33.
Why is it
he
triple?
Was in for 33 years, 33 million for compensatory, and 33 for whatever.
Punitive
the other one
damages.
Was. Punitive, yeah.
A lot of 33s.
Wow.
He's got the right number.
He's 72 years old.
Yep. He wants to lived the last 33 years with money.
Yeah, there's your generational wealth. Nice.
Yeah, reparations, bro.
Reparations. There you go. All right. Should we take a quick break?
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we've got a round of 666 updates you're going to want to pay attention to. And then we're going to get into a little bit of politics. What Biden's been up to, what China's been up to, and what is going on with Mitt Romney's eye. Yeah. And then, of course, some cancel culture and a little update on CRISPR at the end there. So don't go anywhere, mainly because you don't want to miss the stories. But also, we're going to get to thanking some producers and announcing some winners. What do you say, Gons?
Yeah, the Biden story on AI is kind of important. I think it's going under the radar a little bit. And I also have a little extra piece of information that, again, this is stuff that you're just not going to hear on other news reporting podcasts or shows because it's not the most titillating news. But I think it's important to keep track of some of this stuff, especially AI in relationship with the government.
Amen, brother.
Yep.
And that's what we do here, folks. Oh, you have one last thing?
Oh, I was just going to say that you're going to mention the value for value model, and Adam Curry, who invented the podcast, he's a co-inventor of the RSS podcast feed. Mm-hmm. He had a quote where he said, "Every corporate sponsorship is a form of censorship."
Ooh,
I think we need to really push that quote out there a little bit more. Every corporate sponsorship is a form of censorship, and I think that sums it up.
And it's true. And that's why we're on the value for value model, folks. We're going to thank some producers. And yes, I do mean producers because that's exactly what they are. We are on the value for value model, which, again, was another system sort of pioneered by Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak over there at the No Agenda show. We got to give a shout out to them. I think it's mandatory every 30 episodes or so we have to mention it, but it's part of our sponsorship deal.
It's part of our value for value thing to get you guys to check out the show. It is a good show. It is informative, and
that's true. And people give us shout outs on their show.
Yeah, that's nice. Always good. Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so back into it, folks. Every corporate sponsorship is a form of censorship, and that is the core basis for the value for value model. You might notice we have not done any advertisements, no ad reads, no affiliate codes, just pure goodness, folks. And that's because we don't take any corporate money, no corporate money whatsoever, not from YouTube, not from Twitch, not from Super Chats, and especially not from Swiffer WetJet or Novavax Incorporated. None of that, folks, because, it's just problematic from the very start. We've been talking about the evils of the corporate system and the mind control, the literal mind control that is the advertising industry. Of course, Edward Bernays said it best himself, where, the common man needs someone to craft the narrative, craft the worldview, tell them what they need, and provide a solution. And that he's the father of advertising, the father of marketing from the mid 20th century. And we decided that says enough. That says just enough for us. So we keep our conscience clean by not taking any advertisements or corporate money whatsoever. And, it's not the best thing for our bank account, but at least we can sleep at night, as we like to say. And so we are on the value for value model, which is a very simple model, folks. We put out the value, we do it 3 times a week, and we like to think we do a pretty good job. And if you get any value out of what we do, maybe you tune in every show, maybe you catch the live feeds, maybe you just catch the RSS feed, whatever it is. However long you've been listening or watching, you have the opportunity to put value back back in. And it's not just charity. It's not just, throwing your buddies a couple bucks. It is the only way that a show like ours can continue. And we thank God and our producers that it has been working so far. So on top of that, everybody who supports the show with their value, they become producers. And that's not just a cutesy name. That's not just a fun little title that you get to throw around. No, this is the real deal. Just like in the real world, if you pay for a piece of media to be produced, that means you're a producer. It's as plain as that. You can put it on your LinkedIn, put it on your Twitter bio, wherever you want it, and we'll vouch for you. So the first way to become a producer of Canary Cry News Talk for this episode 307 is you can head over to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. That's patreon.com/CCNT. And we've got a couple new producers over there. Oh, first we've got an upgrading producer, and that is Jacquelyn A.
Thank you, Jacquelyn A.
Thank you very much, Jacquelyn A. It's hard enough to get new producers. It's even tougher to get producers to upgrade. So we appreciate that very much, producer Jacquelyn. And next we have a new producer, and that is producer David S.
Thank you, producer David S.
That's right. Thank you very much. And so that's patreon.com/CCNT. Now, we do have another show. It's called Canary Cry Radio. It's an interview-style show we've been doing since 2012, and we highly recommend you check out Canary Cry Radio. Some of you are confused. Yes, let me clarify. Canary Cry News Talk and Canary Cry Radio are indeed two different shows. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk now, but go check out Canary Cry Radio. You're going to love it. But we want to give some thanks to our Canary Cry Radio producers who come in over at patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio. That's right. You guessed it. And coming in for a twofer, Guns, we have producer David S.
David S. again. Doubling up.
Thank you. That's right. Thank you very much, producer David. And next, a wonderful new producer named producer Shawn N.
Thank you, producer Shawn.
Producer Shawn. Thank you very much. And there you go, folks. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't like Patreon, and that's okay. We support you. You can think whatever you want about Patreon. And if that's the case, you can go ahead and head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support is a great place to become a producer of the show. There are PayPal options. You can come in as a monthly producer, which we thank all of our monthly producers for helping lay down a foundation for the show every month. But if commitment is not your thing, you can also make a one-time producership in any amount. And there's also cryptocurrency and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So, Gons, who do we have coming in over on canarycryradio.com/support?
For the PayPal, first up, we have producer Shield Labs.
Thank you very much. Producer Shield Labs coming in again. There's some great consistency with producer Shield Labs lately.
Yeah. Next up, we have producer Catherine L.
Thank you very much, producer Catherine.
And she says, keep up the good work. So thank you very much. Yes, we will keep it up. Next, we have producer Jeffrey D.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey D.
I believe he is our executive producer for this episode 307.
Wonderful.
And he says, thanks for helping me and my family with your content.
You're welcome.
For being a producer of the show. It's because of folks like you that we're able to do that. So we appreciate that. Next up, we have Brian and Michelle E.
Thank you very much, producers Brian and Michelle.
And they have a note here. Thank you guys for your reporting. We have been following Face Like the Sun for about 5 years, but just recently started listening to the live stream. Refreshing to listen to you both and appreciate your humor. Love from Minnesota, or as we like to say, Minnesota. Blessings, Brian and Michelle. Well, thank you very much. And I was worried, when we, not worried, worried's not the right word, but I knew I was sacrificing a little bit of what people are used to with the Face Like the Sun channel, because I would spend countless hours to make like a 10-minute video or 20-minute video. You know, it would take a lot longer to do all the research and put it all together. And I understand that doing a show like this is different because we're covering more news articles and stuff like that. But I think it was just time, you know, and it was important to get more information out there quicker.
Yeah, well, plus you have a bunch more kids now.
I know, that's the other part. Yeah, there's little ones running around and taking up a lot more time. Our
system now is a little bit easier. But also, I want to say something about that as well. Of course, Face Like the Sun YouTube channel is a bastion and has been a wonderful resource for a lot of people. And yeah, some people, are a little cranky that it's not the Face Like the Sun of old. Now, to be clear, you're still producing Age of Deceit 4. You came out with, those are still coming. And you occasionally will do a traditional Face Like the Sun YouTube video.
Yeah.
And
time permitting.
Time permitting. And it's beloved and very valuable. And for some reason, a number of people think that I have been the one to come in and brainwash you and make you stop making videos, which is not the case. I encourage you to make as many videos as you possibly can. It's just, you started that project back before there were so many kids and responsibilities. I know. It's a different world.
I know. And, it's funny because there's always somebody in the comment section. I'm not going to even give your name out, buddy, because that would be giving you too much attention. But every single episode, they listen to like almost every episode. And all they do, every comment is negative. It's like every time they say something, they're like, Gons, you need to get rid of that Basil. It'd be so much better if we just get rid of Basil.
It's kind of flattering how impactful I am to this person's life,
and so consistent with the same message. It's pretty impressive. But they're still listening. They still like watch every show. So it's kind of I don't know. I still appreciate your attention, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, keep watching the show. Hope you learned something.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyways, I guess we've never quite addressed that so directly. So there you go. To address all of the Face Like the Sun people. Hey, I'm right there with you. Of course, in a perfect world, I also want Gons to make more videos. It's just a different world. And this is what we got for now. And
it's the new normal, folks. It's the new normal.
But he is working on Age of Deceit 4, and you can thank me for that. I keep cracking the whip on him.
Okay, is that what that is? When I wake up in the middle of the night and googly eyes are staring over me and saying,
"Yes,
wake up now, research more."
Yes, I'm using
Who needs sleep?
That voice to skull technology to brainwash you and to keep making Age of Deceit.
Yeah. All right. Well, continuing on with the producers here. We want to thank producer Hayley. Thank you, producer Hayley. She came in with...
Thank you very much, producer Hayley.
She's an Illuminati handler because she's got $33.33 going down to each penny there. And her note says, please only use my first name. Well, there you go, Hayley. God bless brothers.
Yay.
Oops, sorry.
Thank you very much, producer Hayley.
So thank you for that. Next up, we have producer Brian D.
Thank you very much, producer Brian.
And you threw that thing out there about, do you want us to mention the amount or not?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we get an amount and I'm like, is there something there with the significance or not? I can't tell. It's just a really random amount, but we appreciate it, producer Brian D.
I think we're going to keep things as they are right now. But yeah, if so we'll read amounts if it's like if it looks like a special amount, of course, if it's 33 or 777 or 2019, 1984, something like that. But also feel free to, in your note, mention if you want us to read the amount or not. Again, we will always lean towards the side of anonymity. So, let us know if you want us to share info.
Perfect. Next up, this is, I think, stuff coming in during the show, so we appreciate all those folks. First up, Ciara F.
Yeah, producer Ciara. Thank you very much.
And she has a note. We're doing an in-person meetup on 3/21 in Texas. Join us, Basil. All caps. So she's shouting that to us. So I wanted to...
For those who are new, yes, all caps message there. Thank you, producer Ciara. And for those who don't know, producer Ciara has been putting on the Canary Cry meetups over Zoom. And if this is to be understood, there's an in-person Canary Cry meetup going on the 21st of this month in Texas.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, that will be after the mask mandate is lifted. And so who knows? Maybe I'll take a little journey through Texas to experience a pre-COVID, no mask world. I don't know what city or what's going on, but I'm sure Ciara will make that information available, especially over on canarycry.community. So Texas listeners or surrounding states, go check on canarycry.community and look for the meetup tab there. And I'm sure producer Ciara will provide more info soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you, producer Ciara. And we just thank you for continuing to garner the community on the ground, not just online. It's a good thing. Next up, we have producer Cynthia.
Thank you very much, producer Cynthia.
And she came in with $33, and she said, "You triggered me with all the 33s."
Yeah, see, that's why we do the 33 updates. It triggers the MK Ultra programming of our Illuminati handlers to produce the show.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's confusing, I know, but that's just how it works.
It's
folks.
the symbiotic thing. Who controls who? It's a mystery.
Oh my gosh.
And lastly, for the PayPal producers, we have producer Alicia M. Thank you, producer Alicia.
Thank you very much, producer Alicia.
And there's other ways to support the show. As you mentioned, Basil, you can send us cryptocurrencies. And we got a little bit of Bitcoin, some Satoshis from B-Dub. So thank you, B-Dub.
Thank you very much, producer B-Dubs.
It was about 15,000 Satoshis, which is a little handful of sats.
Nice.
And speaking of which, just real briefly, Adam Curry and a whole bunch of people are working on podcasting 2.0. And, one of the cool things about podcasting 2.0 that they're trying to build is, and this is a little bit technical if you don't know the ins and outs, there's a second layer solution for Bitcoin called the Lightning Network. And there's a small community of Bitcoin developers who are building a way for podcasts to operate on the Lightning Network for Bitcoin. And it'll allow people to send value to each other without the need of a PayPal or Patreon. No third party, peer-to-peer, which is something that I'm interested in building or helping build. I'm not technical enough myself, but maybe as we go on here. Right now, it's really cumbersome to get all that figured out.
It's a bleeding edge type of situation right now, so only some technical people will probably be able to set it up. But, as time moves forward, things will get easier. It's just sort of how it goes.
Yep. And also thank you to Jade Bouncerson for continuing the timestamps. I did get a note about some potential ways for others to jump in and help that process.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Just because it was close enough, I do want to read one more producer.
Okay.
And one last producer who just slid into home base here. That is producer Philip E. coming in again. Thank you very much. And let's see here. The note says, in all caps, cryptic biblical numbers, brothers. And I sent in $26.70. 26.70s. Cryptic biblical numbers. Does that get you? Does that trigger you somehow?
We're
gonna have to decode that. We're gonna have to get the
70 is like the number of pairs that were sent out to, and also the number of nations. Table of Nations is 70. I know it's a biblical number. But
I see. Okay, he's in the chat too. He says, "That's right, brothers."
All right. Was that
Thank
right?
you very much.
I don't know where the 26 came from though.
I don't know either. If he wants to decode it for us live, he can do that, or leave us to our own Enigma machine.
Okay. So there's, we thank Jade Bouncerson, and there's other ways you can support the show with your jingles.
Isaiah 26.
Isaiah 26. Perfect.
Booyah.
There it is. Yeah. Or your artwork.
One art, please.
And we have some artwork to share with y'all before we go back into the show. This first one is by producer Ali, prolific artist. And the note here, remote control for the police car, toy gun, pipe organ, cheeseburgers for the homeless. This is this is in reference to the headline that we read last episode of a man who was, what was he? Inebriated. He was a Freemason trying to sell cheeseburgers.
Oh, yes. Okay. Here's a Freemason who was found drunk and naked inside of a pipe organ in a church with a remote control police car and a toy gun. And I think he asked for cheeseburgers or something. I forget.
Think he was handing out cheeseburgers, wasn't he? To community people or something.
I can't remember exactly, but yeah, this is pretty much exactly what I imagined, Producer Ali. So nice one.
Pretty good.
For those who are just listening, it's oh my gosh, how to even describe? It's but
torso of a man. Torso.
Yes, from the belly button up, and he looks like a drunk Mason. I'll give her that much. She nailed it. And he's holding a toy car there. So.
Anyone needs to know what a drunk Mason looks like, CanaryCryNewsTalk.com. All right, thank you for that. Good stuff, Ali. And continuing on here, we have one from Teresa. This is actually some like hand work. It's not just a piece of art. This is I think it's like a notebook or
it's a bookmark.
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool.
Go ahead. Yeah. Describe it.
So it's a bookmark, and it's got it says "Think outside the cage," and it's got a little cage there, and the door is wide open, and it's very cute, very very well done. She's got some great. I can't tell if it's markers or what it is, but great handwriting. And then it kind of looks like a toucan. We got a toucan who has flown the coop.
That's right.
And was this a screenshot from some of these Instagram? It looks like.
Yeah, I think she shared it on Instagram.
Cool. Fun.
So, there you go.
Beautiful. Thank you, Producer Teresa.
Yeah, keep it up. Next up, we have producer Russell S. And he put this little sort of montage-ish image together.
Collage.
Like a collage of Baal, like the bull, the people is that Moloch that people sacrifice to. Mm-hmm. And in the background, I think there's like the Chinese Year of the Bull thing going on, and some like an all-seeing eye temple art or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot happening here.
Yeah, it looks like the book cover of like a self-published book on Year of the Bull, Baal, exposed.
I think it has something to do with the last story as well, where the Pope went to in Mesopotamia.
Oh, right.
There's that connection to the
bull. Yeah, and you had a great breakdown of that. So
yeah, so thank you for that, producer Russell S. Appreciate it. Next up, we have from producer Mike B. This is Basil in Chains.
Yes, this is in reference to you talking about how I kind of look like the Alice in Chains lead singer. I'd never seen that person before. I could see where that would same. I don't know, similar features, I guess. But in this image here, Mike B has got a picture of him in a weird shiny leather jacket. Looks like he's on stage doing his thing, but he's wearing a giant VR headset with googly eyes.
That's
Basil
right.
in Chains.
Yeah, you can't kill the rooster.
We've got the same eyes. I'll give you that much.
Same eyes. Good stuff. And lastly, we got one from Quantum Solace. And this is it's like a comic book cover, black and white. Googly Comics. It's 25 cents. The good old days. Basil's Avengers Corner podcast, episode 33. This week's guest, Gons S.
Yes, in reference to a fictional podcast where I finally put all of my newly acquired Avengers knowledge to use. And we've got some sketches here. It looks like hand drawn.
Yep.
We got Spider-Man, we got Wolverine, we got Hulk, and then we got Gons. You look like you've seen better days, Gons.
Yeah, I look a little rough.
You're wearing like a jacket, like a suit jacket. I wonder
It's
oh, and
tattered.
a backpack. Yeah. You look like a real comic book enthusiast.
What's going on with my left leg? It looks like it's broken. It's
yes,
like
your legs
the
are
wrong
facing
direction.
in different directions, but it's a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
Your beard is looking nice and kempt, though.
I know that's. It's sad when the art, the hand drawn beard is more groomed than the real thing. You know, it's a problem. Funny. All right, well let's go ahead and announce the winner real quick.
Yeah, let's do it. So we February was the Canary Cry Silver giveaway. Throughout the month, people were doing social media posts, entering the giveaway. It's not a raffle. There's lots of laws around raffles. This was a giveaway. Completely free to those who wanted to enter, and I think everybody who participated. This was great. The number of participants grew since our first giveaway, and it was a lot of work compiling all of the posts. But
how many posts were there? Just out of curiosity,
I don't have it in front of me. It was hundreds.
Okay,
it was in the hundreds for sure, and it was across so many platforms. So I appreciate everybody doing that. And I did draw the winner, did it the old fashioned way like I've been doing. I'm sure there's a easier way to do it, but the winner of February's Canary Cry giveaway is somebody named William M. Congratulations, William M. If you're listening now, go ahead and send an email to canarycryradio@gmail.com or canarycryradio@protonmail.com. We'll be sending out an email, or I'll send you a message to let you know, and we'll put you in contact with producer Aaron Moffat. That's right, producer Aaron Moffat, who so generously made the 1 troy ounce of fine silver coin available to Canarians all around the world. Everybody should make sure to check out Aaron Moffat on YouTube. She does videos including eschatological conversations, discussing scripture, getting into some cryptocurrency, lots of good stuff. So check out producer Aaron Moffat on YouTube. And there you go. There, I see Aaron is in the chat. So keep an eye out, Aaron. We will be sending you the information for William M., February's winner here. And so we'll get everybody all hooked up. And if you didn't win, do not fret. Do not be dismayed, because we are currently in the process of setting up March's giveaway. And we'll be announcing what that will be soon. And you can get in on that one. So there we go.
All right. Is there anything else to mention during the break other than every corporate sponsorship is a form of censorship? And we will not participate in such blasphemy.
That's right. No, I think we're ready to wake up.
Let's do it.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
And to get us out of the break, we have a handful of 666 updates.
666.
Ooh, we've separated the 33 and the 666 updates.
Yeah, that happened a while ago, but
fun.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Well, I mean, they're separated by a break.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a whole break in between.
That's right. Yeah, good stuff, right? I mean,
that's great.
Keep it in the real, you know. Mm-hmm. I did. Hold on. We got a clip from somebody. Oh boy, I think I lost it. Real quick here, because producer Cynthia P sent in a video clip from Rebel News in Canada that mentions 666 or $666.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it ready to go, and I don't know what happened to it. Give me one moment to see if I can find it in one of my folders here. Oh, looks like it was lost in some kind of mix-up. I thought it was going to be either in the art folder or maybe check the sound clip. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. So this is from Cynthia.
They're not forced to pay $666 a day to stay in prison.
So I don't know the full context here, but in the news report,
a little bit quiet.
It is quiet. I can't. This is as loud as it gets, but yeah, because it's like a phone camera of the TV. It's something about $666 to stay in prison.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Let me play that one more time.
Maybe the cost of keeping an inmate in per day or something.
Yeah, let me play it one more time.
They're not forced to pay $666 a day to stay in prison.
Yeah, so interesting. Not quite sure with all the context there, but good catch. The number's always popping around.
Yeah.
And this first main 666 story is from dailymail.co.uk, where the headlines give you the story. California's serial killer and rapist, 81, dubbed the I-5 Strangler, is murdered in his prison cell. He shared with convicted killer with 666 face tattoo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on in there.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, thank you, Daily Mail. The headline says it all.
I know. Yeah, we don't even need to get into it. It's just pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
Next up, we have a Market Watch update here. Headline, Boeing, Dow Inc. shares gains, leads Dow's 666-point surge.
Oh.
There you go.
What a perfect number for the stock exchange.
Yeah, Boeing moving 666 points higher in a surge yesterday or a couple days ago. And one more here. This is from tuco.com.ke. Top 10 really scary phone numbers that you should never call.
Okay.
And one of them is 666 666 666 with the number 666 associated with the devil. You must always be on your guard when you see it. There's an assumed mysterious association of the number with victims whose death is unexplained. People claim that if you make a wish when answering the call, it will be granted. However, you'll die shortly afterwards. It's also rumored that 666-6666 or 999-9999 could be the number of the beast or Boogeyman's phone number. So very insightful from tuco.co.ke.
Thank you, Tuco.
All right, let's get back into some real stuff here.
Okay.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood.
Politics.
Artificial intelligence.
Okay, it would not be a politics section of the show without checking in on our good buddy Biden. This is coming from BBC.com.
Got hairy legs.
The headline is Biden urged to back AI weapons to counter China and Russia threats. The U.S. and its allies should reject calls for a global ban on AI-powered autonomous weapon systems, according to an official report commissioned for the American president and Congress. It says that artificial intelligence will, quote, compress decision timeframes and require military responses humans cannot make quickly enough alone. And it warns Russia and China would be unlikely to keep to such a treaty. But critics claim the proposals risk driving an irresponsible arms race. Quote, this is a shocking and frightening report that could lead to the proliferation of AI weapons making decisions about who to kill, said Professor Noel Sharkey, spokesman for the campaign to stop killer robots. Oh, been a while since we checked in with them. Quote, the most senior AI scientists on the planet have warned them about the consequences, and yet they continue. This is a funny little contradiction going on, especially with the Biden administration, where basically their motto is follow the science. You know, Biden keeps talking about how he believes in science and how he will follow the science. And yet we have all these scientists saying scientifically artificial intelligent robots will destroy us all. And in that case, they don't seem to be following the science.
No.
Quote, this will lead to grave violations of international law. The report counters that if autonomous weapon systems have been properly tested and are authorized for use by human commander, then they should be consistent with international humanitarian law. The recommendations were made by the National Security Commission on AI, a body headed by ex-Google chief, oh, that's nice, Eric Schmidt, and ex-Deputy Secretary of Defense Robert Work. who served under Presidents Obama and Trump. Other members include Andy Jassy, Amazon's next chief executive, Google and Microsoft AI chiefs Dr. Andrew Moore and Dr. Eric Horvitz, and Oracle chief executive Safra Catz. Perfect. Just get all the CEOs who stand to benefit from use of AI weapons and get them all in the club to tell Biden what to do.
And Eric Schmidt being the guy who was recruited by Google at none other than Burning Man to see how he was.
They had to see how he was on LSD before they let him into the company.
Well, that and how he mixed in with the herd.
Yes,
that was part of the test to see if he was cut for Google executive.
Much of the 750-page report focuses on how to counter China's ambition to be a world leader in AI by 2030. It says that senior military leaders have warned the U.S. could, quote, lose its military technical superiority in the coming years if China leapfrogs it by adopting AI-enabled systems more quickly. For example, by using swarm drones to attack the U.S. Navy. Quote, the DoD, Department of Defense, has long been hardware-oriented toward ships, planes, and tanks, and is now trying to make the leap to a software-intensive enterprise, the report says. If our forces are not equipped with AI-enabled systems guided by new concepts that exceed those of their adversaries, they will be outmatched and paralyzed by the complexity of battle. The report predicts AI will transform all aspects of military affairs and talks of rival algorithms battling it out in the future. Holy smokes. That's terrifying. And while it warns that badly designed AI systems could increase the risk of war, it adds that, quote, defending against AI-capable adversaries without employing AI is an invitation to disaster. It does, however, draw the line at nuclear weapons, saying these should still require the explicit authorization of the president. And it says the White House should press Moscow and Beijing to issue public commitments of their own over this matter. You know, in the Flippy updates we've been following for years here, especially with like Boston Dynamics videos where they're training the robot to open doors or move boxes or whatever. And even with the facial recognition AI algorithms, there's always little QR codes that sort of guide the AI. You know, there's a QR code on the box. There's a QR code on the door. There's a QR code, you can put one. There's those college students who made a sticker, little QR code sticker that they would stick on their chest to not be identified. And it seems like if they want to beat the AI in battle, all you got to do is put some QR codes on U.S. military devices, tanks, Navy ships, just to confuse the AI. I think I just solved our problems, Gons.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks. The commission began its review in March 2019, and this marks its final report. It says previous warnings about national security threats posed to the U.S. by AI were ignored, but there is still a window to carry out proposed changes if President Biden and other politicians act with speed. Good luck getting Biden to act with speed.
I was going to say, what does that look like?
But not all of its proposals focus on the military, suggesting that the U.S.'s non-defense spending on AI-related research and development be doubled to reach $32 billion a year. $32 billion a year by 2026. That is a lot of billions for AI. Man, what a great time for AI coders to get government contracts.
Didn't we just have a branch of government that was all based on AI? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it's we covered their seal and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's blockchain too. It's I don't know, what is it? It had a bad name. It was like let's look it up.
Okay. Keep reading.
National AI something office. It had the word office in it. All right.
Yeah.
Other proposals include creating a new body to help president guide the U.S.'s wider AI policies. We just did that. When was this? This came out 2 days ago, and it's suggesting they create a new body to help the president guide the U.S.'s wider AI policies.
You know why?
And they did it. What?
Because it was under the Trump administration. It's the National Artificial Intelligence Initiative Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it gone? Did you just explode it?
I don't know, but it sounds very Biden. It's like
this exists. The thing they're calling for exists or existed.
That Trump, he's a bad man. He's a bad man. Get rid of everything he did.
Oh my gosh! Do you have the seal still? Is the seal available to look at?
I found the TrumpWhiteHouse.com archive thing. Hold on, let me see if I can find the logo.
We would have had the link. The link is probably somewhere on Canary Cry News Talk.
Yeah.
All right, let me know if you find the logo.
Okay.
Other proposals include relaxing immigration. Ooh, relaxing immigration laws to help attract talent from abroad, including an effort to increase a brain drain from China. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, there's talk about the Chinese brain drain from the U.S., and they're talking about doing our own little brain drain. The problem is look. This is not a racist comment. It's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The every time that we bring a Chinese scientist over, turns out they end up stealing our stuff and sending it back to China. It's the 1,000 Talents program. It's a common tactic that China has been busted many times doing. Last year, there was very important scientists in America and Canada who had been recruited from China, and turns out that they were spying and stealing everything and sending it over to China. So to the CCP specifically, this is a Chinese Communist Party thing. So I don't know if this brain drain is such a good idea. Anyways, we need to create a new university to train digitally talented civil servants, okay? Accelerating the adoption of new technologies by the U.S.'s intelligence agencies. Pretty sure they're on top of that, but okay. While the members of the commission serve in a personal capacity, many of the companies they work for have bid for Pentagon and other government AI contracts. So there you go. All right, and then it goes into chips, the problem with computer chips and how they're all built in China or surrounding territories, and how that's a big problem for us too. But that's more boring. Any luck on the AI initiative?
Yeah,
office?
I got it right here. This is the VentureBeat.com. What this bald eagle and neural network depiction have to do with future U.S. AI strategy, January 12th, 2021.
Yeah, there it is. Logo. So that's weird. Biden must have exploded it. Or these people are just dumb and not paying attention.
Yeah, that's more possible. BBC, they don't know all the stuff happening in the Americas. But yeah, I can totally see Biden Trump's a bad man. Just get rid of everything he did. Just start with a clean slate.
Yeah.
Even the AI initiative
start
office.
From scratch. I'll make my own vaccine. Don't use Trump's vaccines.
He's a bad man.
We got to work on our Biden impersonations.
Come on, man. I know Biden's
Trump's
hard.
Not president anymore.
Biden's kind of hard because he just kind of drones on. He doesn't really.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
We'll work on it off air.
we'll work on it. It's a part of our homework. But so I thought this was interesting as well because quietly, this news here that I have from WashingtonTechnology.com is happening. Maximus makes $430 million deal for Attain's federal arm. I'm like, what is all this stuff? Maximus has added Attain's federal business to its portfolio in a $400 million deal that brings more capabilities around artificial intelligence and machine learning. Attain keeps its non-federal business and will use the proceeds to make investments, including acquisitions, to accelerate the growth of that business. Maximus officials said the acquisition was a, quote, natural fit and logical next step for the company because it builds on two pillars. Two pillars?
What? I'm having trouble following this. Who is Maximus? What is who? What's going on?
I think we'll get there. I had problems too when I first started. I was like, what is this? Is this even America? Like I was unsure it was even in America, but I guess it is. Accelerating digital transformation and further expansion of its federal presence. Quote, their competencies are right in two sweet spots of where the government is going, AI and machine learning, said Tom Romeo, president of Maximus's federal business. Quote, these are key areas where we'll see a big expansion. So Attain give our competencies a jump start. Attain's federal business will fall under Romeo's federal group, but will operate as its own business unit under now former Attain's chief operating officer, Manish Agarwal. The rest of Attain federal management team also has moved over to Maximus. Romeo has said Attain Federal also brings in Maximus. Romeo said Attain Federal also brings to Maximus new customers such as the Defense Information Systems Agency, Energy Department, and Securities and Exchange Commission. Maximus should add about $120 million and $140 million in revenue for its current fiscal year. Quote, customers will see a company with a tremendous track record. Attain will bring new contracts with it, including a $2.5 billion SEC One IT services contract. Attain is one of 3 large businesses on the vehicle. Other new vehicles include the Army ITES contract and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, strategic partners acquiring readiness vehicle. But Maximus also will bring more large business contracts to Attain Federal. Quote, that was one of their challenges. They didn't just have the contract vehicles, Romeo said. Now they'll have access to Alliant 2 and NIH, the National Institute of Health, CIOSP3M, as well as agency-specific vehicles with the Homeland Security Department and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. I mean, I was like, what the heck are they talking about? And then as I read this, I'm like, oh, this is like the one-for-all AI company that's providing AI and machine learning for like every government arm, it seems like.
Okay.
Attain.
They're called Maximus.
Attain was represented by the investment bank Baird, who said transaction illustrates 2 priorities in the government market, increased adoption of digital capabilities by agencies, and how companies with scale and differentiated capabilities can command strong interest from buyers. The addition of Attain Federal bolsters Maximus's automation and digital expertise that the company says will help it design, develop, and deliver improved solution to its customers. Maximus's digital transformation strategy wants to offer new methods for citizen engagement and to help government customers modernize their programs. Attain Federal also adds to Maximus's applications and development capabilities, cybersecurity, advanced analytics, and machine learning skills, the company said in the announcement. Having complementary customer bases will create opportunities for Maximus to grow its federal businesses, according to Romeo. Quote, there really is very little overlap between us, Romeo said. And he sees a lot of opportunities to bring new capabilities to the market by combining Attain's AI and machine learning capability with Maximus's robotic process automation and FedRAMP work. So, yeah, I mean, it's very strange because, again, it's like quietly this Maximus company is like behind all kinds of AI for government. And I did try to look up exactly what this was, and I think, if I'm not mistaken here, Maximus is like, hold on, let me see here. I did have some information here. It's a foundation, and they just contract. Again, they're like one of these private companies. It's like a private-public partnership with the governments, and they have they build technology capabilities for, again, governments and other things. And their company here, well, this one's a little bit different with what I have here, but oh man, I lost that link. Here we go. They're an international leader in government services. Let me show the link here. With offices in 9 countries, Maximus offers unique advantage of presence, leading administration of Medicaid enrollment, perform more than 1.6 million assessment annually. They're in Australia, Canada, Italy, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, South Korea, Sweden, UK, and the US. And again, they just seem to be like this foundation that just does
Yeah, the weird thing is they're so vague too.
Yeah, that's
the thing you got to look out for when a company like that is so international, and especially in certain areas. If they're in the Middle East, they're in Israel and the U.S. and the U.K. I mean, oh my gosh, Lord help us if they're in China. But so vague. I mean, even you look at the design of their website and their logo and everything. It's all very bland.
Super bland.
It doesn't catch your eye. All the language is very vague. That's all on purpose, and it's because they want you to lose interest. They don't want you too engaged in what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it is a little weird. I haven't done the deep dive on this, but those are the things you want to look out for. Look at their drop-down menus have way too much to look at. You kind of just lose interest the second the drop-down menu comes out. Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah,
I've never heard of them before. It's interesting that they're so involved and so big.
$500 million acquiring another company.
So so much money and in so many countries. And if they really are the leaders in AI and machine learning, you would think at the very least you and I would have heard of them before.
Yeah.
It's very strange that they're coming out of nowhere and suddenly, so involved with government AI stuff.
They're in, so they have these markets. They have 5 markets that they list, and one of them is federal programs. And that's where you go in and they talk about we are the go-to partner for federal agencies looking to transform their operations and infrastructure to better deliver on their mission and meet the growing expectation of citizens.
Vague, means nothing.
Super vague. Like what?
Says
what are you
nothing.
Digital transformation, digital revolution in governments. Embrace the digital revolution in government. I don't know. It's just weird. Like who gave them the authority to
what it is it's probably owned by a bunch of if we had a way of figuring out the stakeholders in this company, there's probably at least 20 Congress people. Biden probably owns some of it. That's kind of the thing. They might whoever can secure the contracts are usually the ones who are pulling the strings on the other end of that deal.
Right. Yeah, so along these lines here, you mentioned China, and we do have a quick update about China.
Welcome to Chinese News!
And this has got the creepiest looking, I don't know, is this a GIF or a little video thing with a giant eyeball with the iris is an iris, like a camera iris.
Okay.
At the visual that is scanning all the lands of China, and this is a 1-0 article, and it's titled "China's Sharp Eyes Program aims to surveil 100% of public square."
Yeah.
And we don't have to go through the whole thing, but I'll read a few paragraphs here. One of China's largest, most pervasive surveillance networks got its start in a small country about 7 hours north of Shanghai. In 2013, the local government of Pingyi County began installing tens of thousands of security cameras across urban and rural areas, more than 28,500 in total by 2016. Even the smallest villages had at least 6 security cameras installed, according to state media. Those cameras weren't just monitored by police and automated facial recognition algorithms. Through special TV boxes installed in their homes, local residents could watch live security footage and press a button to summon police if they saw anything amiss. Talk about the virtual panopticon. The citizens police each other.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. The snitch nation. You get citizens to police one another.
The security footage could also be viewed on smartphones. In 2015, the Chinese government announced that a similar program would be rolled out across China, with a particular focus on remote and rural towns. It was called the Zhuiliang Project, or Sharp Eyes, a reference to a quote from Communist China's former revolutionary leader Mao Zedong, who once wrote that, quote, "The people have sharp eyes when looking out for neighbors not living up to communist values." Never a good sign when your program is named after Mao.
Yeah, they still love that guy over there.
Gee,
He was the communist father.
It's literally, we might as well be like, let's call it the Satan eyes. Sharp Eyes is one of a number of overlapping and intersecting technological surveillance projects built by the Chinese government over the last 2 decades. Projects like Golden Shield Project, Safe Cities, Skynet, Smart Cities, and now Sharp Eyes. I remember that. They do have an actual thing called Skynet.
Yeah, I think we covered that on the show a few years ago.
Mean that there are more than 200 million public and private security cameras installed across China. Every 5 years, the Chinese government releases a plan outlining what it looks to achieve in the next half decade. China's 2016 5-year plan set a goal for Sharp Eyes to achieve 100% coverage of China's public spaces in 2020. Though publicly available reports don't indicate whether the program has hit that goal, they suggest that the country has gotten very close.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
So, there's a little bit left. We don't have to read all of it, but, that part of what I've always said about Revelation 13 and the mark of the beast and saying you can't buy or sell unless you have the mark, it suggests a total surveillance society where you and I won't be able to buy or sell even in secret, in a sense, because everything will be surveilled.
Right. Yeah, well, that brings up an interesting set of possibilities when it's certainly a core part of the beast system, whether or not it has something to do with the mark. But yeah, there you go. They just keep making headway on this project.
Yeah. And
I didn't know about the public viewing of the cameras, though. That's a little odd.
Yeah.
I guess if it's public space, though, it's not the biggest deal, except for, it's a very interesting concept.
Yeah,
if it was looking into somebody's window or something, that would be a little bit more egregious than a public square, but still.
Sure, I guess. I understand that the idea of maybe in the public you don't have the privacy that you would like to have, but they just having all those cameras and having each citizen watch each other seems to be a dream of the communists.
Yeah, well, and more than anything, it's the psychological effect of, yes, anytime you're out of your house, anytime you step outside your door, you're being watched. So not only do you become policed by your neighbors, but you also police yourself a little bit more vigilantly, knowing that you're being seen. So, and as part, again, with the Panopticon, with the original Panopticon, the original concept of the Panopticon, which was a octagonal shaped prison where one guard could see into every cell, but the person in the cell could not see if the guard was looking at them. So they just acted as if they were always being watched.
Yeah.
And that's where the psychological holdover is from this, what did they call it? Sharp eye thing, where if you're being watched at all times, whether or not, a human is actually judging you or not, you're going to bring that psychology into your home, not just out on the streets.
Right. Okay.
Cool, so man. China's so cool.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I read it. Cool, man. That's really cool idea, man. All right, so we have another update here about Mitt Romney.
Speaking of sharp eye, let's look at some black eyes.
That's my punch sound. That's kind of a weak punch sound. Do I get a better one here? Hold on. Let me find how about this one? Oh, that's the same one.
Okay.
I guess that's the only one I have. That's weak. All right, go ahead.
You gotta get like an old Batman punch sound.
I know. I thought I knew I had a punch sound. I just thought it was a better one.
Okay. Well, while you look for that, this is coming from NewYorkPost.com. Mitt Romney knocked unconscious, suffers black eye during fall. Senator Mitt Romney was knocked unconscious when he fell in Boston over the weekend, leaving him with a lot of stitches and a black eye. Quote, I took a fall, knocked me unconscious, but I'm doing better, Romney told reporters on Capitol Hill Monday night. The Utah Republican said he was visiting his grandchildren when he got injured. With noticeable bruising under his right eye, Romney infused some humor into the situation. Oh, did he? I went to CPAC. That was a problem, the Republican lawmaker joked, referring to the Conservative Political Action Conference that ended Sunday. Notice how they don't mention that it was because he was a traitor and went to CPAC. Romney was not invited to the marquee event after receiving backlash over his vote to impeach President Donald Trump.
Certainly got a bash.
Asked how many stitches he received, Romney claimed he was not sure. Quote, a lot of stitches. I don't know how many. I asked the doctor how many stitches, and she said, I don't know, but it's all through my eyebrow and lip. That's not true. I'm pretty sure when you get stitches, they count them.
Yeah, they do count them.
I've never heard of anybody got stitches and didn't know how many stitches. It's like a thing. That's like part of the measurement of getting stitches. You're like, oh, I got 1 stitch. Oh, I got 3 stitches. Oh, I got 8 stitches. I required the number is always attached to the stitches. That's weird that he did not know. And even more so that the doctor did not know.
Yeah.
So that's suspicious. But we know that these black eyes are always a suspicious thing. And I dropped a few more little images in there, Gons.
I have an article here, a quick one that kind of explains the idea. But before we do, you know who gets stitches, right?
Snitches get stitches.
Did he snitch out? Yeah, I see the images. I can include those in this thing here. But this is disclosed.tv. The Black Eye Club, initiation ritual, or a sinister secret society. And it's got a picture of David Bowie, Bush, Pope Francis, and one of these, I don't know who that middle guy is. Some guy who's
That's
got
John Kerry.
John Kerry? Oh no, you're looking at the one you gave me. I'm looking at the one on the website.
Different one.
I'll show that one too. Yours is pretty good.
Where's the link that you got? You have a secret link that I don't have?
Yeah, sorry.
What is this? Secret links, guys. He's not sharing me the links.
Oh, maybe I thought I had it in here. Oh, I guess I didn't. Okay, here it is. Hold on. Let me drop it in for you, and then I'll also show the image as well.
Yeah, this is a thing. If you're a fringy type person, you've been following this type of weird stuff for any amount of time, you've probably heard of the Black Eye Club. But in case you haven't, sounds like Gons has a secret link here that he's going to share with you.
Well, it's just disclosed.tv. But it says here, make no mistake, this isn't an organization of any kind. In fact, the officially referred to Black Eye Club is said to be a growing community of celebrities, businessmen, politicians, and heads of state alike who all wound up with black eyes. Most of the sustained injuries have been more significantly impacted on the left eye or left-hand side rather than the right-hand side, although a mysterious wound. The list extends towards politicians like George Bush, musician Kanye West, and even influential Pope Francis. And they got all the pictures. It
shows up
here.
a lot. Politicians or celebrities or musicians or even clergy people, they'll suddenly out of nowhere, they will appear in public with a black left eye. And, it's one thing. Look. I don't, Gons, when was the last time you had a black eye?
I can't even remember.
I honestly can't remember. I broke my nose at least maybe a decade or more ago. I think maybe I got a black eye then, but I can't remember the last time I had a black eye. But here's the thing: things happen. Black eyes happen. It's not, of course, the claim of coincidence is, always a viable thing. But if you're a celebrity, a politician, anybody like that, and you have a black eye, you're probably not going to get up and give a speech without getting it covered up somehow.
Yeah, a little makeup, a little
makeup,
touch up or something. Yeah.
Right. But the weird thing is there's this theme where celebrities or politicians or whoever, they'll have a black eye, usually the left eye, and they'll be appearing in public as if as if nothing happened. And then when they're asked about it, inevitably, every single time, oh, I hit it on a doorknob. Oh, I tripped. Oh, it's always something like that. You never hear like a real story, which, there's a connection, a kind of a sad connection with, the sort of stereotypical abused wife or something, shows up with a black eye and the excuse is, oh, that the drawer just jumped out and got me, So it's kind of got that weird little connection. But if you put up one of these images here that I threw in there.
It's already up. It's been up the last minute or two.
Once you start seeing them all together, it's kind of weird. I mean, you got Charlie Rose, Barack Obama, Pope Francis, Robert Downey Jr., John Kerry, George Bush, Kanye West, Ben Affleck, Harry Reid, Stephen Colbert, Prince Philip, John McCain, Reese Witherspoon, Richard Branson, Ryan Gosling, Madonna, Adam Sandler, Lacey Lawless, I don't know who that is, Michael Vartan. It's just all these well-known celebrities, politicians, and then of course John Kerry, John McCain, and then the Pope. There's some really big names. Some might put them under the category of elites. And, we don't really know why this happens. Again, it all could be a coincidence, but it's very strange. And they all connect with public appearances. It's like they're getting these black eyes and then like very specifically appearing in public to show it off. And yes, there's a lot of theories about whether it's an initiation or a punishment or this or that. But anyways, you can add Mitt Romney on the list.
That could be it too.
There you go.
There was a mention here about one of the theories. Okay, so there are many theories to base facts about the black eye displayed over the internet. This usually ranges from secret society rituals and sometimes towards alien abduction. Even the absurdly scary soul scalping as a method to replicating alien consciousness into world leaders. That's another thing it could be. I mean, is it if something happens, your eyes are a window to the soul. What if there's some demonic entities trying to get in there, and that's part of the ritual to charge you with some demonic power or something
That
like
is
that.
quite the theory.
It is quite the theory. Obviously not confirmable in any sense, but it is strange. It is one of those things that, like you said, it's hard. People don't usually get black eyes in general.
I mean, how many times does any one group of people get black eyes? I mean, besides Fight Club. Fight Club gets black eyes. But yeah, I don't know. You just don't see a lot of people doing it. So when large numbers of the weird thing is it's a mix, the weird mix, it's the mix of elites, which really a lot of people scoff at, you talk about elites and you're like, yeah, it's politicians and celebrities and musicians and clergy people. They're all elites. And that kind of turns the normies off. They don't really get that they can all be connected. But then, all of those same groups of people showing up in public appearances with the same black eye, with the same lame excuse for it, hit my face on a doorknob. How many doorknobs are trying to assassinate these elites?
Oh, apparently a lot. Even Chester Bennington, lead singer of Linkin Park, he died from a doorknob hanging.
John Podesta had a black eye too.
That's right. Yeah, Podesta had one.
This was back a few years ago when he was getting a lot of attention. He showed up with a black eye one of those days.
Yeah. So what do you think happened to Romney? What do you think his... I
don't know. It's very interesting. It's hard to say. And because we don't know exactly what it means, it's hard to say. I mean, sure, Mitt Romney certainly has got a lot of attention recently, sort of leading the charge against Trump in the election on the Republican side. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he did get jumped at CPAC. Who knows?
Yeah, but just not from who he says.
Yeah, not as. I mean, he doesn't actually explain it. He just says He just says I visited my grandchildren and got a black eye. Maybe his grandchildren
are in the Illuminati.
Maybe they love Trump. They gave him a black eye for voting against the whatever it was.
Is there a Trump with a black eye picture from any time in history?
I don't know. I don't recall one.
There's a BuzzFeed article about Trump's creepy eyes.
Oh, you know what? Squids One on YouTube mentions lobotomies. Oh. That is, you do lobotomies through the eye socket. Oh, and I think you do get a black eye.
There you go.
That's interesting.
Romney, you're thinking too much, buddy.
Yeah, maybe.
We're going to drop you down a notch.
Extracted a part of their frontal lobe to calm them down or something.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on this story.
Nice one.
Okay, so that's all the politics. Of course, it extends into other areas, and as most of these stories do. But we got one, this is more mainstream topic, but it's worth mentioning here.
Cancel culture.
This is apnews.com. 6 Dr. Seuss books won't be published for racist images. You heard about this, right?
Dr. Seuss is canceled?
Yes, at least 6 of the books.
No, I didn't hear about this.
It's funny because I was telling my wife about it, and she's like, "Oh, we should pick up those books." So I went on Amazon and eBay.
Already gone?
Well, they're still out there, but I'm not paying $750 for a Dr. Seuss book. You know? I mean,
which ones are they?
I'll read them here. 6 Dr. Seuss books, including "And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street" and "If I Ran the Zoo," will stop being published because of racist, insensitive imagery. The business that preserves and protects the author's legacy said Tuesday. Oh, you see, if you get too big, you just have people that preserve and protects the author's legacy.
Oh, it's just those 2 ones? I don't recall those 2.
No, there's more.
Yeah, well, the preserving of the legacy is weird. Because that's what happened with, Disney. They try to protect Disney's legacy when he was a complete weirdo.
Yeah. Quote, "These books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong," Dr. Seuss Enterprises told the Associated Press in a statement that coincided with the late author and illustrator's birthday. Oh, great. It's wonderful. Quote, "Ceasing sales of these books is only part of our commitment and our broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss's Enterprises catalog represents and supports all communities and families," it said. The other books affected are Mig Elliott's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Eggs Super, and The Cat's Quizzer. The Cat's Quizzer.
What's funny? I've never heard of any of those.
Yeah, they're obviously not the real popular ones.
Sounds like they've been trying to preserve his legacy and hide those for a while, because...
Yeah. The decision to cease publication and sales of the books was made last year after months of discussion. The company, which was founded by Seuss's family, told AP, quote, "Dr. Seuss Enterprises listened and took feedback from our audiences, including teachers, academics," well, that's your first mistake, "and specialists in the, not that all teachers and academics are bad, but a lot of them that complain about this stuff are..."
That's the center of the cancel culture, really.
They're woke.
Are you even woke?
In the field as part of our review process. We then worked with a panel of experts, including educators, to review our catalog of titles, it said. In, quote, "And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, an Asian person is portrayed wearing a conical hat, holding chopsticks and eating from a bowl. That's what we do."
Yeah. That's the thing. They confuse, stereotypical is not even the right word. It's just
cultural truth.
It's cultural indicators.
Yeah.
Is what it is. The cone hat and chopsticks, they're cultural indicators of
it's not
an Asian person. It doesn't, if the Cat in the Hat was swooping in and, making fun of the guy.
Muddle, fuddle, waddle. Sorry, go ahead.
What'd you say?
Muddle, fuddle, waddle. I've been reading some Dr. Seuss to the 3-year-old.
So there you go. Practicing. Yeah, if the cultural indicators, he's got the hat and was eating rice, and Cat in the Hat came in and was like, "You're eating rice. I see you do. You're bad, and I'm racist. I'm Dr. Seuss."
Perfect.
Then that might be a problem.
Yeah, it gets even better here. Quote, "If I Ran the Zoo" includes a drawing of 2 barefooted African men wearing what appear to be grass skirts with their hair tied above their heads. Oh no, the racism. Books by Dr. Seuss, born Theodore Seuss Geisel, in Springfield, Massachusetts on March 2nd, 1904, have been translated into dozens of languages as well as in Braille and are sold in more than 100 countries. He died in 1991. He remains popular, earning an estimated $33 million before taxes in 2020, up from just $9.5 million 5 years ago, the company said. Oh, he hit the magic number. That's why they got to...
Yeah.
And
I thought it was more.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still...
Is that Dr. Seuss? Is he alive or is he?
No, did you not pay attention to what I just read?
No, I missed it. What? That's his estate or his company or something?
Yeah, he's okay. So he was born Theodore Seuss Geisel in September, Massachusetts, or Springfield, Massachusetts, March 2nd, 1904. Yeah, sorry, Springfield. He died in 1991.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That was a long time ago.
His earnings, so maybe not the company, but his earnings was $33 million before taxes in 2020, up from $9.5 million.
That's what I don't get. His earnings. He's dead. Where are these earnings going?
Forbes listed him number 2 on the highest paid dead celebrities of 2020.
So it's his estate. It's going to his estate.
Yeah. Then. Behind only the late pop star Michael Jackson. Within hours of Tuesday's announcement, Dr. Seuss books filled more than half of the top 20 slots in Amazon.com's bestseller list. Mulberry Street and If I Ran the Zoo were on the list, along with Oh, the Places You'll Go, Green Eggs and Ham, and others still being published. You know, this is like, all it does is create this massive secondary market. You know, for a short while.
It just raises the value of these racist books.
I know. I don't know. Random House children books Dr. Seuss's publisher issued a brief statement Tuesday, quote, "We respect the decision of Dr. Seuss Enterprises, DSE, and the work of the panel that reviewed this content last year and their recommendation." Well, of course you do, because you don't want to be canceled. You don't want to lose one of your biggest money makers, Random House.
Well, I will say, I think that they did this in order to avoid Dr. Seuss getting canceled.
So they canceled themselves?
Yes, he self-canceled to keep you getting canceled.
Oh, I bet you we can go into some of the ones that haven't been self-canceled and find reasons to cancel them.
Oh, eventually. So, we don't even need to do it. That's work we don't even need to do. Somebody else will definitely do that.
There's a Ben Shapiro quote. Let me try it here.
Oh, good, please.
We've now got foundations, book burnings, and authors to whom they are dedicated. Well done, everyone.
Everybody loves waffles.
Wow, that was pretty good.
I don't know if that was a good Ben Shapiro, but that was
that's pretty good.
Yeah, all right. I mean, there's not much else to say other than
there we go. Add them on the list.
Yep. I didn't own any of these either, and I don't care. It doesn't make the world better. You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything other than protect themselves, I guess, from the woke crowd, which that's what I don't understand. I know, but like the fear of the woke minority, it's such a weird phenomenon. Do they have that much power?
For now.
Apparently they do, because they're
making
companies lose their own thing.
Let's see here. How are we doing on time? We're getting there.
Okay,
we're
almost there. We're almost there. Yeah, we got to finish up. But
you want to do a little CRISPR update here?
Yes, this is a CRISPR update.
CRISPR. Cas9.
This is coming from ScienceAlert.com. The headline: Experimental CRISPR treatment cuts cholesterol in mice by up to 57%. In a single shot. We've got a cholesterol vaccine, Gons.
I know. I might need to get one.
Oh, apparently we all do.
I know.
Scientists have improved upon a form of gene editing therapy, creating an experimental treatment that looks to hold great promise for treating high cholesterol, a diagnosis affecting tens of millions of Americans and linked to a number of serious health complications. In new research conducted with mice, researchers used an injection of a newly formulated lipid nanoparticle. Dun, 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 nanobots, alert.
No, particle. That's not a nanobot.
No. It's nanobots. I saw it in a YouTube video.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm just being mean. In new research conducted with mice, researchers used an injection of a newly formulated lipid nanoparticle to deliver CRISPR-Cas9 genome editing components to living animals with a single shot of the treatment, reducing levels of low-density lipoprotein LDL cholesterol by up to 56.8%. In contrast, an existing FDA-approved lipid nanoparticle, or a tiny biodegradable fat capsule.
LNP is the
yeah, it's basically just grease. It's just a tiny little piece of grease. Lipids, I believe, if I remember. If I remember from my chemistry class, lipids are just like fat or oil or something. In contrast, an existing FDA-approved lipid nanoparticle, so tiny grease, delivery system could only manage to reduce LDLs by 15.7% in testing. Of course, these results have so far only been demonstrated in mice, of course. So the new therapy will take a lot of further testing before we know it's both safe and equally effective in humans. But based on these results so far, signs are promising. The way the treatment works relates to a gene in humans called angiopoietin 3, angiopoietin 3.
Weird that it's in the name. Angiopoietin 3.
Which produces proteins that inhibit the breakdown of certain fats in the bloodstream. People with a mutation in this gene tend to have lower amounts of fatty triglycerides and cholesterol in their blood without showing other kinds of health complications. And for years, scientists have been trying to recreate the process with treatments that effectively mimic the effects of mutation. Quote, if we can replicate that condition by knocking out the angiopoietin 3 gene in others, we have a good chance of having a safe and long-term solution to high cholesterol, says biomedical engineer Kuai-Bing Zhu from Tufts University. Quote, we just have to make sure we deliver the gene editing package specifically to the liver so as to not create unwanted side effects. Isn't that always the key?
Yeah.
That's the rub, isn't it?
It'll fix you, except it might destroy you at the same time on delivery.
So that's the long and short of it. Gets kind of technical on the second side here, but it does talk about RNA real quick. By packaging the LNP, that's the lipid nanoparticle envelopes with strands of engineered messenger RNA, mRNA, and single guide RNA targeting the angiopoietin 3 gene, the researchers could used CRISPR technology to knock it out. In turn, this reduces production of the angiopoietin 3 protein by about 2/3, which helps the body to break down fats before they build up in the bloodstream. So there you go, Gons. At the very least, we've solved mice high cholesterol. So our mice can live a longer, healthier life.
Per usual, a lot of this stuff is so much of problem reaction solution. It's not like, hey, get a better diet, get some exercise. It's never that. It's the solution. It's like, oh, we'll just inject you with this mRNA to fix you with your high cholesterol.
We need to change your genetics. We need to alter your DNA in order to so you don't have to eat any more celery.
Well, that's the thing. It's like one big psyop. It's like, they just want you to keep. But I mean, it is sort of a tempting thing. It's like, oh, I can eat all the junk and all the stuff I want to eat. And if I get in trouble, I'll just get the CRISPR treatment there and I'll be just fine. And I can keep going back to eating all the yummy stuff that I like to eat, Man
has become the master of their universe.
Have they?
They're trying. At least the mice universe. We completely control the mouse universe.
Yeah, so Pinky and the Brain were right.
Yeah, I loved that show when I was a kid. I think they did a remake with the Animaniacs. All right.
I thought they were Animaniacs all the way.
It started as a mini segment in the Animaniacs, and then they got their broke off and got their own show.
Yes.
Okay, this has been your Animaniacs moments here on Canary Cry News Talk, and I think that's the end of the show, Gons.
All right. Remember the song by the Animaniacs that said all the nations of the world?
Yeah, my high school
Canada,
teacher.
Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru.
You know what the funny thing was? By high school, we had to learn the song in high school because apparently it was important for us to learn the name of every country in the world in a song. And I could never do it. I was very bad at it.
But I learned it. I learned it in 4th grade. I was like the star in 4th grade because I could sing the song and I could name all the nations.
Yeah, well, you were Asian.
Hey, that's racist.
No, it's cultural signifiers.
Cultural signifiers. Crete and Mauritania, then Transylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan. That's how the song ends.
We're Pinky and the Brain. We're Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. Okay. I don't want to get a copyright strike with my excellent rendition.
I'm sure the sound waves are really catching. The algos are looking at it going, it looks familiar, but we can't quite match it.
If he does it for one more second, we'll get him. All right. I think we're done. You done?
We're done. Yeah, we're done. We're getting silly.
Yeah, we're losing our minds. Okay, everybody, this has been Pinky and the Brain. And
you're Pinky now.
Yeah, it's not too far off. Okay, what are we doing here? March 5th, Friday. We'll be circling back on Friday, which is March 5th. Put it on your calendars, turn on notifications. And before we get too far here, if you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button on the video. I see there's about 100 of you that haven't done that. And make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
That's right. And thank you so much for tuning in. And a big old thank you to our producers for the show, episode 307. Make sure to thank your producers today, folks. That's producer Jacquelyn, David, Shawn, Shield Labs, Catherine, Jeffrey, Michelle, and Brian, Hayley, Brian, Ciara, Cynthia, Alicia, and Philip E. Thank you to all of our producers for making this show possible. And also B-Dubs coming in with the cryptocurrency. Thank you very much. And, of course, thank you to all of our artists, as well as Jade Bouncerson, for adding so much to the show. We truly couldn't do it without all of our producers. It just warms our heart to know that people are staying involved and helping us make the show, because we can't do it ourselves.
Amen.
Did you have something to say?
No, just thank you to all those producers as well. We really...
Just making a noise.
Really appreciate it. No, I was saying amen. I don't know what you want me to say, buddy.
Okay. So make sure to tune in on Friday. And remember, we'll need some producers for Friday's show. So as usual, if you could go ahead and, pray about it, see if the Lord leads you to become a producer of your very favorite podcast. And remember that all corporate sponsorship is a form of censorship. And so you have an opportunity to help, not just help us break away from that system, but help yourself break away from that system, from the mindset where you put yourself up for sale just to get some free media. Now, here's the thing. There's many ways to help produce the show. If financially supporting is not the way for you, oh, by the way, you can go to patreon.com/CCNT or canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
There you go. And like I was saying, there's more than one way to support the show. If financially is not in the cards for you at the moment, you can create art, you can create jingles, create music. Remember, stick around after the show. We have the Canary Cry mixtape. If you create any piece of art that, whether it be musical or visual, make it related to the show, for the show, and send it in to canarycryradio@gmail.com for ease, and canarycryradio@protonmail.com for privacy. Thank you very much again to all of our producers, both financial and otherwise. And remember, you can also support the show by helping spread the word. There's a few ways to do that. You can leave reviews and ratings on Apple Podcasts. That is always a heartwarming moment for Gonz and I to read those reviews. We read every single one, and we also read them on the show here. So If you want to get featured on the show and help the show spread, convince, trick, shall I say, those algorithms into sharing the show with those who may not have heard it, go ahead and leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you for those who did that. I'll be, if any come in, right now there's no new ones have come in, but if any new ones come in, I'll read them on Friday. So that's a great way to get on the show and help the show. You can also, hey, here's the thing, folks. You got friends, you got family. They're starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. Actually, I want to take this moment to digress for a moment. I was hanging out doing some motorsports, which was very fun with a buddy of mine. These are normies, and there's another normie there, sort of a extended side friend, and they asked me what I thought about the vaccine. And I kind of have a reputation with this friend group for being a little radical.
Sure.
And they asked me what I thought about the vaccine, and I gave my sort of standard normie answer, which is, it's a new technology. A technology that's never been out before. I'm healthy. I'm not at risk. I am not rushing out to get it. But so that's, I gave the normie answer. And this person says, "Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I was worried." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Oh, I think it's a horrible idea. I'm pretty liberal. I watch CNN. I love all the liberal media. But when I hear them talking about this vaccine, it just drives me nuts." I'm like, oh my gosh. Even the most staunch normies are starting to wake up. And then they got into asymptomatic spread and how they can't believe they're being lied to. I'm like, dude, I knew it. COVID, or the response to COVID rather, is like radicalizing more people than, the internet ever could. Just watching the mainstream. So anyways, you got friends and family just like that who are starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. And you can help us and them out by sharing with them an episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Turn them on to the show. You got a little, if you're new to the show, you got a little taste of it here. Hey, we're not here to scare anybody. We're here to have fun, but also explore the truth. I think it's a very friendly way to continue exploring the truth for those friends and family of yours who are starting to wake up. So go ahead and share with them an episode. We call it Rattling Some Cages. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, you grab them by the cage, and you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gonz, any last words?
Oh, thank you everybody for checking out another episode, and hopefully you can share this one with others because it's got the image has a beautiful rainbow and the face of Biden, Pope Francis.
It's very friendly. Very friendly looking thumbnail there.
Yeah. So do share it with friends and family and rattle their cages.
Okay, there you go, folks. Again, we'll be back on Friday, March 5th. So make sure to make it. And there you go. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
This guy comes to my house. He's a Satanist from one of the Satanist churches here where they sacrifice babies and melt those babies into candles, their skin, and that's supposed to give them more demonic power. And these Satanists came to my house, 5 of them, and threatened my life.
Sinful generation!
Stop this progress before it is too late.
They are scum.
You can't handle the truth.
This is deep.
Remember, reality is an illusion.
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Do pot. That's where I started.
Light up a huge blunt.
A joint.
Give everybody magic mushrooms. Smoke. The CIA, lots of intelligence agencies have tested secretly dosing communities. LSD.
Psychoactive pills should be covertly administered.
Just put me on some, I don't know.
Give you a shot in the butt. Fluoride, oxytocin. Get a chemical hug.
I did dabble, some of that robot crack. I know what it's like.
It's a lethal recipe for disaster. You need help.
If you're a pharmacist, you need to repent.
Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets, man.
Robot girls are one, all together it's an image. Robot girls are one, all together it's an image. Robot girls are one, all together it's an image. Robot girls are one, all together it's an image. It might seem scary, so frightening. Get ready for it. Don't push your button. Get in your spaceship. It will be over. Get in already. It will be started. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Now!
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood.
POLYTICK.
Many bloodsuckers.
Politician. Politicians for politics.
Don't let them drain you all away.
Poly.
this new demonetization? What's this? To my surprise, I spot a big pair of googly eyes. Click on the video and turn up the sound. What is this gem that I have found? Canary, cry radio, canary, cry news talk, canary, radio, canary, cry news talk.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You get you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.